Hello and welcome back to Does It Roll? Does the Code? We are returning with our second recording. I think this is episode 3 if you're hearing it on the podcast. And it has been an incredible scenario so far. My name is Joe Tritt and I'll be your host and keeper tonight. And we're going to jump straight back into the action. But first, I want to give you a bit of a recap. This story started back in, I believe it was 1925, when Professor John Roy, played by Niall, received a strange letter. A letter from his good friend, Professor Kenneth Connolly, and explaining that there were some problems. And he sent John Roy a code and said, you must keep this and do not share it, and you must burn this letter. A few days later, both Professor John Roy and a number of Professor Kenneth Connolly's friends, colleagues, business partners, and some other peculiar characters received a telegram saying that they all needed to head to his house out in the distant bush or the distant forest to see his latest adventure. They all headed there, and they all arrived at his incredibly decrepit mansion. There were a number of different people, and the mansion itself was weird. Odd events started to happen. Richmond Green's butler was shot and then was immediately resurrected. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I will set the scene. So we last left Jack Connolly, Professor Kenneth's brother, and Richard Green heading off into the woods following a peculiar dark figure who seemed to be carrying a body. We last left John Roy, or Professor John Roy, entering the house looking for his buddy, Professor Keene, who is nowhere to be found. And we last left Professor Keene, played by Curran, being approached by a woman called Claire, who has been acting very, very suspiciously up till now. And we're going to zoom the camera in on this dark, decrepit mansion, lit only by Professor Keene's single flickering lantern, as the beautiful, enchanting figure of Claire approaches him. Now, Curran, before we start, can I just paint a picture of your character? Can I just correct, what is your appearance?
My appearance? My character's appearance is 80. He's very, very handsome.
Very, very handsome.
Yeah.
So she approaches you through the darkness, and she's been walking through the shadows unlit, not carrying any kind of light. And she enters the soft glow from your lantern and says, "Oh, Professor Keene, so glad to see you here." And she sort of touches your chest.
Very inappropriate, Claire. You're going to fluster me. Also, why are you walking around in the dark like sometimes strange woman that you are?
Well, I lost I was looking for William. He said he'd go and get me a lantern, but then he never came back. But it's not why I'm here. And she approaches you a bit closer again and goes, "I need to know, why do you keep calling me Elizabeth?"
Well, thing is, I once knew a woman called Elizabeth, and you looked a lot like her in this particular kind of light. I see now in this candlelight that you look nothing like her. You're much, much prettier.
I think I'm going to leave you to roll persuade on that. or charm. That does sound like quite a charming thing to say. Whichever you prefer.
So I rolled 41 against 60.
Is that on your charm?
Yes, on my charm.
She kind of blushes for a second and gives a very sort of flirtatious giggle and says, "Because it's funny you should say that, because my name is Claire. And well, I've been keeping a secret from you and the other fine gentlemen, because I didn't arrive today. And she looks a bit worried for a second and says, I've been here all along with Professor Connolly in the mansion. I helped him develop the device and room over there. And
Device?
the time machine that we've been creating for the last months together. And
That's preposterous. There's no way that you've made a time machine, a functioning time.
Where did you say that? I was there when he disappeared. I was there when he was sucked into the void. And I need your help. You're a professor, right? Professor of physics?
Yes, the most talented professor at Miskatonic University, yes.
Thank God. Maybe you can help, because he's locked the machine. I can't use it to save him.
But do you know where he's gone?
No. A few days ago, he activated the machine and was sucked into a black void. But I tried...
Wait a moment. You said you were hiding from something initially, and that was that you've been here for a while, right?
Well,
but then why did the whole masquerade of us going to the library and saying, "Oh, he's just coming now in a moment," that you know that he wasn't here and that he wasn't going to show up?
Well, the last few weeks, he'd been acting strange. We developed it together from ideas that he found in a strange book.
Strange book?
He hid the Necronomicon. And the physics was real. I know it was real. He said it was real. But then he would take himself up into the attic, and he would come down with the next piece of the puzzle. But every time he came down, a tiny piece of him was lost. He'd be meaner. He'd be violent. And when all you people started arriving, I didn't know who to trust. But you...
I hope he didn't harm you, Claire. This is...
She touches her cheek, and you do see a slight darkened area covered by makeup that could very well be a bruise. Please, he locked the time machine with a device with a code. It's in the attic now. I was hoping maybe he reached out to one of his friends or people he trusts with that code, and we could use it to maybe save him, or at least stop these strange things that happen in the house.
I don't know anything about any kind of code, Claire, right? But I will tell you that I think John Roy is definitely the man for this job because, right, he's brave and I am not. So I'm not going into that attic with just you, yeah?
Please, we haven't got time. And she starts heading up towards the attic.
That's seriously not going to convince me any quicker. I'm just going to go this way with the light, and if you want to come with me, you can come with me. And I'm trying to head towards the...
Her whole demeanor changes, and the kind of damsel in distress look disappears, and she reaches down, and you see that she is holding a pistol, and she says, "You're coming with me whether you like it or not, sir."
So, you might have a gun.
Enough talk. Up the stairs.
Okay. You've got a gun, and I'm going to do exactly what you say. All right? That's exactly what's going to happen. Okay.
So she kind of slices the pie around you, keeping about 8 feet between you and her. And the way that she's holding the gun, steady and with precise poise, you get the impression that she is quite willing to kill you and is very capable of doing so.
This is very scary. So, Claire?
Elizabeth.
The gun is unnecessary. I understand that you mean business. Okay?
Up the stairs, sir.
Yes.
And the two of you head up towards the attic. Meanwhile, and probably a few minutes later, Professor John Roy, you have just returned from outside the house. You shake the rain off of your clothes and enter the foyer where, well, not to your character's knowledge at least, Professor Keene and Claire, or Elizabeth, or whatever her name is, have just departed. There is no sign of Professor Keene anywhere. Did you say have you got any kind of light?
I got a flashlight for my car, yeah.
Okay, so your flashlight cuts through the darkness, but where it illuminates, it almost makes the darkness around you seem that much darker. And you find yourself shining the flashlight quickly to try and illuminate the pieces of the room that are the darkest. And you become subtly aware of that this house doesn't sound empty. Every creak under your footstep sounds ominous, and you can hear... In fact, give me a perception roll.
Oh boy, perception. How am I with that? There's no perception.
Oh,
That's
I do
a D&D
apologize.
roll.
Can you give me a listen roll, please?
Oh, my listen's awful. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, no problem. 41 versus 20.
Okay, for a moment you thought you heard like a chittering, a buzzing sound, maybe like a cicada. You know those kind of sort of insects you often hear. Although this, I guess it probably would be the right time of year, and you can't hear it right now anyway, so I'm sure it's nothing. The foyer seems empty and dark, but you notice that the library door is ajar, and there is a bright light coming from within. One that doesn't really match the sort of harsh electric bulbs that were there when you were last in the room.
Well, I know that when I left, I had Claire and Charles with me, so I walked towards the room just muttering, "God damn it, Charles! I told you there to wait. Goddamn foyer." All right, and I move towards the room, and when I get to the door, I don't want to just walk in. I want to kind of peer in through the crack in the door.
So when you approach, and you're very, very close to the door, you're expecting to hear this kind of buzzing sound of the electric lights, or maybe the chattering sound of your companions or some of the other people in there. That isn't there at all. In fact, the light seems to be bright sunlight.
Do I see anything in the room?
You'd have to push the door open. From where you are, there's only about a 3 or 4 inch crack.
I'll push it slowly open.
The room that is revealed is shocking because the room is brightly lit with sunlight shining through the wide open windows. Previously they'd been curtained, and the windows beyond look upon a summer scene, probably mid-morning. I need you to roll sanity.
It's a nice thing to roll sanity on, though.
Yeah, it's
It's probably a nice thing we've rolled sanity on, yeah.
I rolled a 62 versus 59.
You were jumping too quick, buddy. That was your last roll.
What? Oh, sorry. I rolled 29 versus 59, so I succeed.
Succeed? Okay, you don't lose any sanity loss. In fact, you find the room calming, particularly because with his back to you is Dr. Kenneth Connolly himself, and he is working on something which may one day become the device that you'd seen there before. There's no gloves, no boots. There's no the bit that's sort of attached to the side where maybe someone else could join. It's just maybe the beginnings of the power pack. And he's humming to himself. In fact, you just hear the kind of waft of classical music. It looks much more like a library than a workshop, in fact.
Can I close the door and open it again, like I did with the wolf?
Yep.
And is it still the same scene inside?
Yeah. In fact, the door closing and opening grabs your attention, and Aram is going to play Professor Connolly.
Oh, hello there. Good. Wait. Why are you here?
Why am I here? What's going on here?
Oh, this must mean it worked. Oh, bully. Excellent. Okay, listen. Tell me everything that's happened. Every single thing.
You sent me a letter on March 14th. You invited me and Charles and your brother and
yes,
some man called Richmond who funded you. You invited us to your manor.
Excellent. Are they all here?
They are around. I thought Charles was in here with some lady called Claire, who I think might be this Elizabeth that you warned me about.
I'm sorry, what? I warned you.
Elizabeth. Yes, in the letter that you sent me, you gave me a code, and you warned me about a lady, Elizabeth, and her brother.
Well, you should bring her here right away.
I don't know where she is. I thought she was here.
Oh, my goodness. Listen, very, very busy, but go find her, bring her right back. This is such a good day. You will see it will all make sense in time. In time.
What are you building?
Well, I'm building everything, of course. And we can touch everything, see everything, experience everything, everything you've ever dreamed of. And he kind of walks towards you now, like his hands up, and he's a little manic. Everything you've ever wanted, everything you've ever dreamed of. What would you like to see? Want to see Pompeii die? Let's go watch it.
What?
Yes, exactly. Hurry, get Elizabeth, bring her right back. She'll be thrilled. Go, and kind of like shoves you towards the door. Go, hurry up. I've got all the time in the world. Push, slam.
I close the door and I'm just... Let's go here. What? I look around. Do I see any, like, sources of light? Do I hear anything that could indicate where Charles might have gone?
So the door slammed behind you, and running down the stairs, you can hear footsteps, like terrified footsteps, like someone who's running in panic, like they're like missing steps, as if they're being chased by the very hounds of hell themselves.
All right, I run towards it with a flashlight, shouting, Charles, is that you?
It is Jack Connolly. It is Owen running down the stairs, terrified. He looks completely bedraggled. You think there might be blood pouring from a cut on his head, and he kind of sees you, and he just looks terrified.
Jack, calm down. What's going on?
Thank God you're alive. Where the hell have you been? We've got to get out of here. We've got to get out of here right now.
What do you mean?
We've got to get out of here right now. We don't have time for this crap. Come on.
But Charles is here somewhere. We can't leave him here.
Of course he's here. It's his house. Like we got to get out of here. We'll find him on the way.
This is Kenneth's house.
Sorry. Yeah. I don't care. I'm panicked. We got to get out of here.
Okay. Let's get you out of the house. I will go back in and find Charles. Okay.
And as you're saying that, Jack Connolly's figure fades as if ice melting in front of you, and he just falls apart, collapsing on itself, infinite fractals disappearing one by one until there is nothing in front of you apart from a scream saying, "Get out!" And I need you to roll sanity again.
God.
That's a good one. That's better than the sanity.
Yeah, that's better. All right, let's see. 33 versus 59. I succeeded again.
That's a succeed. So you lose another point of sanity.
Okay. And 50.
Okay.
Do you want to change the scene, or am I still?
I think so. I think we'll fade that scene, and we will join Jack Connolly and Richmond Green and Parker as they make their way through the forest. Now, when you initially started making your way through the forest, you were really struggling, because I think you had this like enormous, ridiculous umbrella, and I think you may have got rid of that. But it is still raining, umbrella. And it's very cold. And the canopy above is protecting you from some of that. But even though the house was dark, for all of you who are used to the sort of city lights and living in, I guess, what would be sort of seen as suburbia, being out here, you hadn't realized how dark a forest could possibly be. And you become very, very aware of all your other senses. The sounds around you, the sort of leaf mold beneath your feet, which smells off. It smells more rotten, more fungal than it should. And you're finding it quite hard to keep up with the figure in front of you, who is marching through the forest without any light, without anything to guide them, but they are stepping over every branch. They are nimbly making their way around every puddle, every hole that would possibly break a wary foot, without any light helping them. Whereas the three of you, even with your lights, are struggling to make headway. But you are keeping the figure holding what seems to be a heavy bag over its shoulder. You're keeping it in sight, just. So I'm going to need you to give me a spot hidden roll. I think we'll leave Parker for now. Actually, no, I think I'll roll for Parker.
You want to go first, Duncan?
Yeah, okay. Right, so... Looking for a 45. Oh no, it's a fail from me. Start.
I need a 40 in mine. And I got a 92.
Oh, yay.
Come on, Parker.
No, 77. So
no.
you kind of there's a bit of a low point where maybe a stream cuts the path in half, and you all have to take a minute to maybe either walk through the stream or jump over the stream or figure a way around it. And by the time you've made your way across, like, it's not too challenging, but it's enough in the torchlight that you pause, you look up, and the figure is gone.
Where the hell's he gone? Parker, like, we're not keeping an eye on him. He had one job.
I'm so sorry, sir. I believe he's just round that bend. I had him in sights a minute ago, and then I put my darn foot in this puddle.
Don't worry about it, Parker. God, this blackguard appears to know this ground very well. Have you any idea who this might be?
From his like the way he carries himself in his gaze, would I have any idea who it might be, Joe, or any?
That's a fantastic question. I'd probably say give me an intelligence roll, like a no roll. But if you've got another roll that you prefer, you can go for that as well. If you can think of another way of doing it, a spot hidden would be good enough, or a tracking roll if you have that.
No, we'll go with unless I can fast talk my way into figuring out who he is. I think we'll go with intelligence.
Just lie about it.
36 versus 60.
It's
spend my
hard to
6
tell.
luck.
I was going to say, do you want to spend that 6 luck to make it a hard success?
No, it's 9 luck actually. I'm rolling in luck.
Okay.
Oh Lord, no, I'm not. Keep it normal success.
Okay, so with a normal success, it's certainly a man. It's certainly a large, muscled man to be able to carry that weight with such ease. If it was anyone in the house that you've possibly seen, there's only 2 people it could really be. Either Dr. Quinn or William. If it's someone who you haven't met before, then obviously you've got no idea.
I haven't a clue who it is, unless it's that weird Willy guy. Like, he's not the normal butler. There used to be a Benjamin or a Benji that was like the attendant to the house. I don't know, the other weird doctor professor guy, the big guy. Maybe it's him.
Dr. Quinn. Well, this William chap, he was rather vulgar at times. I think so. Perhaps. I don't know. This feels very strange to me. I'm not. I'll be honest with you, Jackie. I'm not too happy with being out in these conditions, looking for a man in the dark who may or may not be armed. Perhaps we should think about heading back.
I mean, we could, but the other thing is, it looks like he's killed someone, and it came from the house. Like, is this some sort of ruse to get us all here? My brother's missing. There's another dead body after turning up. That could be my brother. He might even be dead. I gotta chase after my brother, potentially.
So you want to follow this chap?
Well, yeah. Why else are we ankle deep in a brook?
Do you know, sometimes I find myself asking this question, and I can never come out with a good answer. Like, what are we doing? Do you know what? Okay, very well, old boy. Let's carry on following him, because if we dally too long, then he'll be gone. So come along then, let's go.
Yeah, and I guess we're going to try and move double time to catch him, Joe.
Okay, so I'm going to need you to make some dex rolls if you'd like to move at double time.
Oh no!
Why did I say it? Sorry, I got 9 luck to spend.
Do you want to go first, Sam?
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out my dexes. I got 50. So versus 50, I rolled a 30. No, 83. God damn it. God, reread my last roll. Nope, not at all.
I'm an old man, so I'm looking for a 30.
Oh my
God.
Oh,
73.
Oh.
did you break a leg? No.
Also his age.
Goodness, my hip.
So as you're having this conversation, and I guess maybe you get a bit carried away with it, you're not looking in front of you, and you both fall. In fact, maybe like Richmond Green, you fall forward first, and Jack, you try and catch him and lose your footing as well, and you both fall face flat in the mud, or at least that's what would happen. But as you're falling, Richmond, you're slightly in front. You catch your head of something which shouldn't be there. And the path is bisected at an angle by what initially seems to be nothing. What you've caught your head on is an invisible plane. And where your head has struck it, ripples spreading out infinitely like a pebble into a pond, spreading out across the forest itself. And just to your left, sort of blocking about half the path, the this plane or this wall is rippling gently and distorting the image beyond.
My God, do you see that?
I do, sir. Very strange.
What the hell is that?
Goodness gracious, it's like ripples on a pond. I'm going to reach down and look for some kind of stone or twig or something like that and just try gently tossing it towards it, see what happens.
Yeah,
that's Stargate SG-1 moment, are we? First time to turn on the thing every time.
So your stone or your stick strikes it, and again there's this rippling effect, and it drops to the ground as if it's hit a slab of concrete. And I'd like you both to give me some quick spot hidden rolls. And Duncan Green, you can go first.
Okie dokie. Right, looking for a 45. 71. No. I'm really freaked out.
You're really keeping in that 70 wheelhouse today.
Just trying to emphasize how old my character is.
Two unluckiest players, and I've built my character to be a talker. He's been out in the woods on his own, basically. 84!
84, nice. Okay.
Versus 40.
So when the plane distorts, and as the ripples spread across it, you notice something moving beyond, something large and winged, but the distortion disappears, and again you're back to looking at the forest. Although now that you know it's there, you can now see this. It is like a wall, and it goes up and up and up and up. And as you're looking at it, you're sure that it's moving closer.
Say, Jack, I think it's getting close towards us.
And we've seen this guy go through it. Was there any change in... Well,
he didn't go through it. He would have gone up the path. So this is like to your left, and the path sort of curves around to your right. So he's still ahead. I mean, he's sort of getting out of sight. Well, he's out of sight. He's probably getting further ahead. But yeah, this wall or whatever it is to this bubble maybe is to your left.
Okay, look, I don't know what's going on. It is getting closer. Maybe we do go back to the house and just try and figure out what's happened. See what happened to your money. See where my brother's gone. And maybe I'll give you a real project to invest in.
Money aside, old boy, I'm getting rather worried about what might have happened to your brother. Some very strange things happening around here. Yes, let's get back to the house and see if we can find the other chaps. And perhaps we can... perhaps they've found something. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe the brain trust have figured it out.
So you turn around and you start making your way back. Maybe a bit slower, maybe a bit quicker. But in front of you, I guess this would be to your right now, there's a ripping sound. And it jars you like nails on glass or on a blackboard. And the sphere tears open, and these claws start trying to make their way through. These chitinous, brightly coloured claws that you can't focus on. They just look wrong. And what could be a head, it must be a head, but it's tentacled and insectoid and terrifying and very, very wrong, pushes its way through in front of you, maybe 20 feet ahead. I need you to make me sanity rolls.
Hello, mother.
Your turn first, Ian.
What is my sanity? My sanity is 68. I rolled a 12.
Nice.
I'm down with insects, apparently.
So you will still lose a D4 sanity, which I will let you roll.
Oh boy. Okay. On the D4, I rolled a 4. Goody.
Nice.
Goody.
Okay, so you just look, you scream, you cannot stop yourself. This thing is completely inhuman. You've never seen anything like this. This should not exist. And you turn around and run from it. Richmond Green, how did you do on that sanity roll?
Let's find out.
Richie boy.
I've passed. So I was looking for 66, so under half there.
Nice. Okay, so you still lose that D4.
Last. Still D4. Okay. 1.
Oh,
okay, so you for a second you drop the shotgun that you're carrying, or you go to, but you manage to catch it. But Parker and Jack Connolly are running away in the direction you were traveling, away from this creature and away from the house. And we're going to switch the camera
Godspeed,
back
old
over
man.
to Professor Green.
Professor Keen. Right?
Professor Green. We're playing Cluedo now.
Where you get wrecked.
As you've made your way upstairs, you have now reached the final floor. Claire, or Elizabeth, or whatever her name is keeping a good distance behind you. And she gestures to the ceiling above you, where there is a string, which presumably pulls down the attic door.
Okay. Yes. I've got it. I grab the string and I pull it down, seeing if the stairs or like a ladder comes down.
It does. Now, and she looks kind of a bit scared again. She says, "There's something up there. Something your friend summoned. Fractal being he used to protect whatever it was he was doing there. His dark meditations that seemed to be summoning the knowledge needed to get this time machine working. You're gonna have to be quiet and you're gonna have to be careful."
This sounds like a very bad idea. I am a lot of things, but I am definitely not quiet.
And the stairs come down with a big thud and a bang.
I just wince. I'm just like, Are you sure you've got the white man for the job, Claire?
I believe there is no one better to help me fix this time machine and help me save Professor Connolly and save all of us.
I can fix the time machine or whatever made up nonsense you're talking about. But if you think I'm going to go up there and fight some kind of giant bat or whatever it is, then I think I'm probably going to die. I'm just going to put it out there, and then you're going to be left with no one who can fix your machine.
It's not a giant bat. It's like a crystal, fractal creature from beyond our comprehension of the universe.
A crystal.
You go and have a look. It won't attack you if you don't get too close. I promise you that.
Oh, okay. Do I believe her?
Give me that psychology roll.
That was just Job, the DM in his own voice. Like, I won't hurt you in this encounter, I promise.
I have a 65 against 40.
You're honestly not sure. The gun is looking very convincing. I mean, everything she seems to say is very convincing, to be fair.
Well, she's an excellent liar. Right, so I decide to just head on up, and I'm like, you said to be very quiet, right? So if I make a sudden loud noise, it's not going to just attack or whatever, right?
I know he's hidden the device in a little chest. Last time I tried to get it, it was fine until I tripped over a candle thing, the rubbish up in the attic.
Okay.
And it came for me, and I dived down here.
You dived down. It's very impressive.
She touches her cheek again, where you saw that bruise before.
Right. Anyway, I'm gonna take a quick look, Claire, and I'll see if I can see it. And I peek up over just my head peeking out into the attic.
So the attic is almost completely dark. However, and it stretches the entire length of the whole house, so it's huge. So where you are is in the kind of far left-hand corner of the house, like the far western corner of the house, and it goes across the entire house. So probably like 30 feet away, in the middle of the attic, is what can only be described as a crystal. But it's twisting and turning and revolving about its axis in a completely scintillating and maddening way. The more you stare at it, the more that you realize that nothing about it is is still or stationary. It's not like a diamond. It's like staring at a Mandelbrot pattern where you zoom and zoom and zoom in, and the more you zoom in and more details are flown into your eyes, and you feel yourself being sucked into it as if it's eating your very soul away. And I need you to make me a power roll.
A power roll. Okay.
A one weakness W's.
Oh, right. I've got rolled a 9 against 60, so this is. I'm like, it's just a crystal, Claire. I don't understand what your problem is.
You did with your result there. You were like, oh.
So with your 9, so what's your power?
60.
60. Oh, so this is an extreme success. So you're not just unaffected by it, and you're not just able to shake away this sort of hypnotic pattern that seems to be drawing you towards it, but you are very, very aware that this is an intelligence, and it exists in another universe as something completely uncomprehendable. But as a tiny part of it enters our universe, this is how it's being displayed, and it is reaching for you. And you are able not just to be unaffected by it, but you are able, at least for now, to block its sight of you. It now does not know that you are there. You are like a chair, or in fact, because it can't even comprehend that, you're like nothing. You are, at least that is the impression that you're given.
I think I will stick with the chair thing. I'll be like, in my own mind, I am a chair.
Very comfy.
It's all good. I am a comfortable chair. Right.
You are now able to take in the room itself. It is hovering above a strange, I mean, it could be a pentagram, but it has so many more facets and lines and symbols and maddening patterns to it. It's drawn on, I mean, it can't be blood, but that's what it looks like. And at each of its points, and there are 10 of them, there is a candle, not lit, and there's something in the center of it which looks like it's been knocked over. And I think when you arrived in this house, you got this smell of incense, and that smell is really strong in the room now. But the room itself is still lit by this thing, and there's loads of boxes and strange things and furniture and things covered in dust cloths and all sorts of odd accoutrement. But not too far away from you, between you and this creature, you notice a chest.
So because I can sense that it can't see me, or I don't feel threatened by it necessarily in this particular moment, I'm going to be talking to Claire while I'm walking forward. I'm like, so Claire, I don't see the big deal. I'm just going to go up now. I'm going to go towards the chest, right? Also, this thing is so peculiar looking. It's just ridiculous. So do you think Kenneth summoned this then, did you?
So she's come up behind you. So now that you've sort of started walking to the room, she's walked up behind you and she's like, he was very protective of this place. He told me never to come in because, well, I guess it's because of this thing that he's called here. But there it is, and you've now reached the chest. It's in there.
Mm-hmm. So I try and open the chest. Is it locked? Or?
It's not locked, no. It opens with a thud, and you notice that this diamond pattern kind of like jars for a minute, and these like spikes, like when you watch like an audio feed, sort of jut into the air for a moment, and you see that its spinning rotation has stopped for a moment, and you get this really, really strong impression that it is reaching out its mind towards you. Your extreme success seems to be protecting you for now.
Yeah. Is there a way I could, I'm going to take the thing out of the box, and then I'm going to throw the box over towards Claire, because she's come up into the attic now.
Okay.
So I check her the box, and I'm like,
okay,
quick.
So in the chest is this small device about 5 inches long with this alphanumeric keypad, this perfect thing for fitting into the suit. It's the thing you've been looking for.
Yes.
And you want to try and throw this chest towards her?
No, I'm taking the thing out and putting it in my pocket, and I'm just going to throw the chest over towards Claire.
Okay, so the chest flies towards her. In fact, no, give me a strength roll. Let's see if you can throw this chest.
I have a very impressive strength of 40. I'll have you make.
Strongest person at the university.
Ooh,
Oh,
I've rolled a 40 on 40.
Okay.
Hey.
So
I have
you
the
are
exact strength required to throw a box.
okay. So you pick up the box and you throw it, and it lands. Are you trying to hit Claire, or are you just trying to make a sound?
I'm just trying to make sound next to Claire.
So it kind of lands next to her, and there's a thud, and this creature starts like floating towards you. And I'm going to need you to make another power roll. And Claire looks like a mask, like almost like it's almost like really exaggerated mask. She is so terrified. But yeah, I'm going to need a power roll from you.
All right, let's see how I do this time. Oh dear, I've rolled a 96 against 60.
So this malignant creature, this being, this intelligence latches onto you and starts, rather than heading towards the box sound, it's starting to head towards you.
Ooh.
And I think we're going to flick the camera over to John Roy.
dear God. He is spooked. I want to go look in the room we were in first when we first got here to see if there's anyone in there or if there's any sign of anyone in there. Because I don't know where was Professor Quinn or Dr. Quinn and Diana going off to?
They'd gone up to search the floors above you for any sign of, well, your missing friend, Professor Connolly.
Then I want to go up and try to find them.
Okay, so you head up the stairs and you feel very alone for a second. There is something very odd about this house that feels just like everything's kind of out of kilter, like out of phase with itself. And you kind of step and then you almost see your foot step again on top of your current foot as if it's so hard to describe. And then the phasing stops for a second and you're back and you find yourself at the top of the stairs on the second floor, the next floor up. First floor for
like,
UK people.
Not yelling, but like kind of like Quinn, Diana, Charles, are any of you up here? Can you hear me? I hear anything? Any replies back?
Your voice echoes silently across the floor.
Can I like see if is it hardwood around the place or is it carpets or?
No, it's all carpeted, but it's very uncared for. Like it's very patched in certain places, and over by the windows, at least from where you're standing, there's like an evidence of these like circles of black mold where the dampness has got in.
Would I be able to see any footprints if I did a spot hidden?
Not across the carpet. No.
Okay.
If you want to give me a listen roll, though, that would give me if you want to see if you can hear anyone.
Yeah, I'll give it a listen. Not great, but worth the shot. 59 versus. I'm almost tempted to just spend luck to succeed. But 59. Can I push it? Can I like? No, it would just be walking down the hallway, which I'm going to do anyway. I start moving towards the rooms that we were given.
Okay.
I'm gonna check each kind of door as I'm going along the hallway. See if I can find anything. All the time, by the way, I've got like my flashlight in one hand, and the hand that I'm opening the door with, I still have that fire poker in.
Oh yeah.
So I'm armed at least.
So do you think your character would have been to this house before?
He might have been over before. He was quite close with Kenneth.
So you've got a good idea of, like you've probably maybe been hunting here before. So maybe I think Kenneth was probably, he's a fan of those type of things. So you've got a rough idea of the kind of rooms that you're going to find in here. Let me just get the map up.
Would I have an idea of where Kenneth would have done his research normally?
So you're not entirely sure where he'd done his research because I think this was very much his like summer home. So He had a library where he might read, and obviously that's been converted into kind of like a workshop. His bedroom is on the floor. It's actually on this floor. So it's where you've come up the staircase. You're kind of facing left and right. The door directly on your left would actually be Kenneth's bedroom.
I'll go in there. If I don't see anyone else, I'll go in there and check there.
Okay, well, we can do this. So you enter the room, and you know Kenneth is a untidy man, shall we say? Someone was evidence from both his house, but also like his workshop / library, where his papers are just like strewn everywhere. His bedroom is immaculate. His bed is perfectly made. There's like a little book on the side that he'd been reading, a novel. Here, there's no sign of any clothes. The wardrobe is closed perfectly. It almost looks like no one has been living here.
Is it still the same kind of like? Is it all moldy and decrepit like the rest of the house?
Yeah, you've not stepped back to any other period. There's no anything unusual going on. It just feels that this doesn't match Kenneth.
Can I go in and look through the bedside table, the cupboard, to see if I can find anything?
Yeah, okay. So let's have a luck roll.
Well, all right, 55 isn't bad. It's better than Owen's. 9 now, or whatever he's on.
Wrong 9.
35 success.
35. Okay, so what was that? Is that a normal success?
Just a normal success, not a hard or a not
Extreme.
a hard or an extreme. No.
Okay, so as you're walking across, your foot hits a floorboard and it creaks really strangely as if the floorboard's loose. And you kind of stumble for a moment, and then you move forward and pull open the bedside table. The first drawer is empty. You pull the second drawer, and laying there is a brand new revolver.
Ooh, I take it.
Fancy.
Is it loaded?
It is loaded, yes.
Okay, I pocket that. You said that I tripped over a floorboard.
The floorboard definitely seemed loose as you stepped upon it.
Can I go back and check that and see if it lifts up? If there's might be maybe something hidden underneath it.
Yeah, so the floor is actually carpeted, so you can work out where this floorboard is, where it's loose, and you kind of follow it along to the wall where the carpet meets the wall, and you pull it back, and it's not nailed or tacked down, and the whole carpet comes away, surprisingly easily, actually. And you notice that the loose floorboard is able to be released, like there's a hole underneath.
What's in it? I lift it. I open it.
It's a small red book, and when you start flicking through, you believe it to be Kenneth's diary.
All right. I guess I huddle in the corner, out of the way of the room, and I like try to focus the flashlight on the red book so it's like shining on that but not giving away too much light, and I start reading it.
Okay, Aram, are you able to read the excerpts from Kenneth's diary?
I am indeed. May 5th, 1924. Just moved into the old house with Elizabeth. Still have some unpacking to do, but it's great to be back. I have some wonderful summons here. I'm expected to start construction of the device with Elizabeth. She's truly brilliant. I love her so much. May 15th. Elizabeth has had some amazing insights into our work. She said that she gets them through a special ritual, a meditation, she calls it, and she persuaded me to do it with her. And now, something has happened. I've seen something. No, I've seen many things. Elizabeth's occult studies, they've given me a new way of thinking. I don't know how to describe it. The beginning, I touched something, a mind, a being, a concept. No, I don't understand it. She called it Yog Soth. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Though that is the only one way of looking at it, I suppose. I need time to think. May 16th. After a good night's sleep, it's clicked. I understand. We were going about it all wrong. I cannot work fast enough. May 30th. I love Lizzie so. We were laughing so hard this afternoon. I'm so lucky to have her. June 9th. Our initial experiments have been an amazing success. I can't express my joy. I think we can do this. June 19th. Lizzie wants me to do the meditation again. She says it would help our work move quicker, but I can't. It just doesn't feel right. Frankly, I'm scared. We're working through so much. We're coming up with solutions, but there's so many problems. I just don't feel like I need to do it again. I wonder, how often has she done it? July 29th. Major breakthrough. We've discovered the best way to temporarily travel is through thought. Today I was able to peer into the past. It was where the house was being built, which must have been 1830 or so. I saw workmen. It was so real. I should be able to move through space as well, but it's hard to get my mind around that. Lizzie suggested the meditation again, but I just can't bear the idea. We're making progress. We don't need it. October 5th. Things are moving slowly but steadily. November 12th. We've had an unexpected visitor. Lizzie's brother, David, has come to stay. She's never mentioned him before. He's very charming, but a little strange. I guess Lizzie is too, in her own way. November 15th. David is going to be with us for a while. I don't like it. Our work could be quite dangerous, and I don't want him getting hurt. But David seems to have no interest in what we're doing, and Lizzie says he prefers to keep his head in books. He doesn't strike me as the bookworm type. As big and fit as he is, but who am I to judge? I'm sure we'll be fine. January 3rd, 1925. Overheard a hushed argument between Lizzie and David. I don't know what it was about, but they seem to be trying to keep it from me. January 23rd, fighting again.
Can I stop you there?
Gotcha.
Because at that moment, John Roy, as you look up, you hear a voice. And it's the voice of William. And he says, "Why, John Roy, what have you found there?" And you spin around, and William, huge, muscled and menacing, is standing in the door, holding a lantern in one hand and what looks like a large piece of metal in the other. What could it be? We're going to smooth the camera over to Jack Connolly and Richmond Green. Jack Connolly, you are running full out, panicked through the forest. You turn a corner and the forest bursts into a clearing. Your heart is hammering in front of you, just as you see, could it be William? That's what it looks like. And he seems to be putting the final, I guess, shovel of earth upon a large hole. He looks up with shock as he sees you before fading away into nothingness. Infinite fractals, these tiny pieces that just disappear into the ether around him. Richmond Green, you approach the clearing from behind, maybe a bit slower and more controlled. Parker just behind you.
So I'm going to run forward to where I saw the scene, kind of. So it's happened to me once, so I'm a bit more kind of, maybe not au fait with it, but less taken aback by it, and realize there's something happening here. So I'm going to take the hatchet I have and like slam the blade into the ground and like then grab it and try and peel back the ground and dig in the spot where I saw the grave fade away, or the hole fade away.
So the earth is really, really loose, and it's just coming away from you really, really easily. This has been recently covered up, and you just dig and you dig, and the wet soil gets caught in your hands. It's covering your clothes. You kind of wipe your forehead. Richmond Green, what are you doing as Jack Connolly is digging away at this?
I'm getting a magic item.
Richmond's kind of walking towards Jack because he figures safety in numbers, but at the same time he keeps on looking back, and he's got a shotgun at the ready. See if this thing is following.
Give me a spot and roll.
Okay. Right. Okay, 45 is what I'm looking for. 52. No, it's a fail.
No, you're really not sure.
We're so bad at this game.
Let me see if Parker can do any better.
Come on, Parker.
49. I give that as a pass for Parker. So Parker kind of points, terrified, not down the direction of the path that you're where you've run up from, but to the north, kind of the edge of the clearing, the direction you've been running from. And when you see what he's pointing at, again, you feel this shock for a moment, because that plane, that strange bubble, is entering the clearing, and you're sure it's moving towards you now.
My God, Jack! That weird wart or whatever it is coming closer. What are you doing there?
I don't care about that goddamn wall. There's something here. I saw something. There's something here. I just know
What
it.
is
I
it?
feel it.
What is it? Come on, hurry!
And as you say
Good
that,
question.
your hand pulls back a clump of earth, and you see in the soil a hand, or at least a partially submerged hand, the 5 fingers or 4 fingers and a thumb pointing upwards, and your hand touches against it, and for a moment you kind of are holding this corpse, and you feel absolute terror. I need you to give me a sanity roll.
Boy, this man is going to be very insane very soon. Versus 64.
But you've got 9 luck to fall back on. You're fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. Oh! 1! I rolled a 1! Can I get sanity back? I liked it, buddies.
No, you don't get sanity back, but you definitely feel you clench your teeth. Like, would your character have maybe fought in the Great War? Like, I mean, that was only what 7
hell
years
no,
ago?
I'm an artist, but like, I don't know. I moonlit in a mortuary. There you go. For cash in college.
Sure, yeah. So you can completely detach yourself from this, and you now know there is at least one body buried beneath you, mere inches away.
Is there any ring or anything on it, like, or anything to recognize it by?
So you scrape a bit more of the soil away, and yes, there's not only a ring, but it's the same ring that you wear, or the matching ring that you wear on your finger, the family crest of the Connolly family. You are certain this is your brother.
Cool. And I saw Willie bury him. Okay. On that note, going to turn to Richie and Parker. He killed him. He killed my brother. That goddamn Willie character. He's buried him. Look, he's here.
What, are you sure? Is that Kenneth?
I mean, yes, it's my goddamn brother in the ground, dead. It's kind of disrespectful to ask that question.
But how do you know? That's just his hand.
I mean, he's got a matching ring, and I'm going to hold my left hand up to his hand and show the family symbol. Which is a fox. We'll go to fox. Why not?
Richard takes a look at this ring and sees the matching ring, and he's getting a little bit freaked out by what's going on. So he wants to make sure. So he's going to say to Jack, you keep an eye on the trees over there and make sure no foul creatures come after us. And when Jack's looking away, he's going to try moving some earth towards where he thinks the face is.
Okay, so you start maybe hesitantly at first, or confident. How would you do it? Are you going to do it very? What can you tell me?
So Richmond's probably not seen dead people before. He will have been involved in the Great War, but certainly not on the front lines. So it's always been kind of like an abstract thing. Not that he didn't care or anything like that, but it's just a different class, I guess. So he's a little bit. He thinks he's going to be fine when he starts looking to see a corpse.
Okay. So
whether he will or not, we'll find out.
You scoop the last handful of soil away, and the face begins to emerge. First, ice white nose, followed by the cheeks, and then the sunken eyes. And as you scrape the dirt and water away from the face, you are faced with your business partner, cold, dead, and rotting. This is indeed Professor Connolly. And I'm going to need that sanity roll.
Okey-dokey. 65 now. I'm losing points fast.
Man, if he was like 20 years younger, that would have been a great moment. I thought it was going to come.
24.
Ooh.
Ooh. I think this is probably still worth a D4 though.
Okay. As expected. It's not bothering me. 3. Okay. He's going to stiff up a lip and sort of put a bit mud back over the face so that Jack's not going to see this. And he's going to white the sheet and sort of like shaking a little bit and stuff. But he's going to be putting a stiff upper lip out there. You know, he's English after all. My God, man, he can't lose face here.
My God, man.
He's going. So yeah, actually, you say this face was rotting. So a bit of a stretch, but having been out hunting animals and things like that, could I tell if he's been recently killed or not?
Give me, you can be a hard first aid if you've got anything like a hunting skill, like survival, or if you've got a medicine skill. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a ballpark.
Okie dokie. I've got natural world.
Natural world would definitely do it. Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah? Okay, I'll go with that then. Something for a 40. That is 1.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay,
One.
We're amazing.
God.
No.
Ridiculous.
The only ones who get 1 on are the ones like, yeah, he's rotten.
Yes.
You're not insane.
Yeah, it's. I don't do normal rolls, do I? It's just extreme.
Neither do I. Like, everybody drink again. We got another crit success.
Okay. Yeah. So you would say, so your first thought is this must be a really old. They must have been dead for a while. But then you think, actually, the weather around, like, they've been buried in rotting soil. It's been wet. It's not nice out here. You would say a minimum of a week, possibly longer. And then you think for a moment, hang on. It's currently April 3rd. And you received a telegram, supposedly from Kenneth Connolly, on March 30th. And he's been dead at least a week, probably longer. This can't be right. And as you have that thought, Parker goes, "Sir! Sir!" And he's pointing in the direction of the wall, which is now visibly moving towards you. And from behind it, you can see these shimmering shadows, these creatures trying to tear their way in. And is that a good point to take a quick 10-minute break?
Yeah, I'm going to go crap myself.
Everyone for watching. We'll be back in 10 minutes' time to an exciting finale of The Code.
Oh, man.
My God, I'm thinking some people are going to die.
Hello and welcome back to Does It Roll? We are playing the code and we are down to our final hour. Some awful things happened last episode. My name is Joe True and I am the keeper and host tonight, and we are going to do a very, very brief recap and jump straight back into our characters who are in some pretty dire situations. First of all, Jack Connolly, played by Owen, and Richmond Green, played by Duncan, are out in the forest. They have seen some pretty mind-rending things. First of all, the forest and all that is within it seems to be encased in some sort of strange shimmering bubble that is contracting, getting smaller, and creatures from beyond the bubble are trying to rip their way in. Strange, chitinous, lobster-like abominations are forcing their way into this tiny area that our characters are held within. They've also found a clearing where, sometime in the past, poor Professor Connolly had been buried. And Richmond Green has realized that not only is his friend lying in the mud beneath him, but his friend must have died before the telegram that invited them all there was written. So who wrote the telegram? Meanwhile, Professor Keen is up in the attic. He is retrieving the code box, the thing that activates the time machine and allows anyone to use it. But he is caught between two things. We have, on one side, Claire, or Elizabeth, or whatever her name is. And on the other side, the scintillating diamond creature, this thing from beyond space and time, this fractal being who has now noticed him and realizes that he is there. And last, we have John Roy, who has just found Professor Connolly's diary. He has found a number of insights which explain this whole mess. But can he communicate it to anyone? Maybe, maybe not, because coming through the door behind him is William. And John Roy, William, is covered from the tips of his fingers all the way up to his arms in blood. I think we're going to start with you, Mr. Roy, Professor. And he says it almost scathingly. What have you found there?
David, you fool. I slam the diary into his chest. Take this, find your sister. You've messed us all up.
He takes a step back, but he's holding this thing threateningly. He was about to hit you with it, and now he pauses for a second.
Put that down, you fool.
I'm going to need a fast talk roll.
Can I try intimidate instead? Oh no!
No.
If again, because obviously there's a difference between player and character. So I'm actually happy if you pictured your character doing this in a much more intimidating way, then yeah, go for it.
Yeah, okay.
He's saying you're not intimidating in real life. That's actually saying it's the worst insult you've ever had.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I'll roll that. I get a. I rolled an 88 versus 50. I'm gonna use luck on this one.
Oh really?
I'm gonna use 38 luck to make that a success.
I had the dream.
Wow. Okay. So what does that leave you luck-wise?
I was on 55 minus 38. What does that leave me with? My math is not working. So
It's 17.
17 luck.
Check. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Remember when your teacher said that you would never have a calculator on you?
Right now.
And the whole internet in front of you. There's 27 calculators watching us right now. They can help.
So he takes a step back and he goes, "How the hell do you know that name?"
Do you think you're the only ones that are patrons of Yog-Sothoth?
Now he just looks really confused. What are you talking about? And he's beginning to wave it more threateningly again, but this time he looks a bit scared.
Your sister in her meditations. Who do you think she talks to?
She ain't my sister, and I don't care what she knows. I need the code, and I'll beat it out of you like I beat it out of those other professors.
I don't have the damn code. Professor Keen has it.
Where is Keen? And
I don't know. I'm in here looking for him.
Under floorboards.
He's intimidating. He seems really confused. And he goes, right. But now we'll work together on this. He's not on this floor. And he gestures over to the room on the far side that is half ajar, and like it's dark, but by the light of your torch beam, you're sure you can see a pair of feet laying down, pointing out there. Let's go up to the next floor and see what we can find.
Okay, I'll follow you. Go.
Okay.
So let's go 2 floors up to the attic.
Well, what I want is while we're going up the stairs and he's right in front of me, I
Okay.
pull out the revolver and I shoot him in the back.
Okay, let's pause that at that moment.
Oh, God.
Only it were so easy.
And let's move up 2 floors to Professor Keen himself, who has got this being, this fractal entity heading towards you at speed.
I pushed the roll because I did fumble. I think with a roll of 96.
Okay, so what are you going to do to push the roll?
I am going to stare straight into it and try and exert my will on it.
Fantastic. Okay, so this is going to be an opposed power roll. So you are literally matching wills with a creature from beyond time and space.
Exactly.
That always goes well.
And it is a pushed roll. So I will say that if you fail, something pretty awful is going to happen. So I'll just put that out there.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm well
so,
aware of the risks, mister.
do you want me to give you the target? Or well, you've gone already. 88.
I've not gone already.
Oh, sorry. Okay, go for it.
That was someone else's roll, please.
Someone else's roll.
Scrub that. No, it's not me. No.
Currently has much to voice in before he dies. So
Right,
he's enjoying it so much.
Yes, exactly. I'm so done. So done. Right. So, I've rolled a 48.
Okay, and what's your power?
My power is 60.
So that's a normal success. So let's see if you can beat this creature. So that's a 55. So that is a normal success. So you feel these icy tendrils trying to push itself into your being, but you are able to erect these mental barriers, these sort of
Just chairs.
wall of chairs.
Yeah, I'm just like, I am a chair. You cannot
for a
reach my
moment-
chair kingdom.
You feel that you are able to exert control. You can see a gap in its defenses and you push your psyche, your id, into it, and you feel yourself spiraling into infinity. You can see this creature the size of a star, or it has no size. There's no space out here. This creature is pure thought. And then something grabs onto you, a human thought, something very, very real, and it has control of this creature. This creature is its servant, and you are forced away from it. You feel yourself thrust backwards, and it's not just your mind that's thrust backwards, your actual form, and you feel yourself falling across the floor. You tumble backwards as if thumped full in the chest, and you lie flat on the floor, looking up, and there, looking down at you, is Claire, holding her gun, pointing down at you, and she says, "That very, very stupid thing to do, Mr. Keen."
Well, I thought it was very clever, but if it had worked.
Shall we go to the time machine? And at that
Yes.
moment, there's a gunshot from the floor below. And I think let's move ourselves to the forest where Jack Connolly, Richmond
Nice.
Green, and Parker are standing above the corpse of Kenneth Connolly as the the very walls of reality are squeezing in on them.
Now, Jack, my boy. You are right. That is your brother. But right now, you need to focus because it looks like the end of the world is right there. So let's get back to the house now, and then we can think about what we're going to do. All right?
Yeah. Fine. Look, let's get back to the house. There's definitely someone in that house. That Willie character killed my brother. He's got to be the cause of all this. He has to be.
Very well. Let's go. And Richmond's going to sort of like gesture and follow, and is going to assume that Parker's going to be actually sort of like pushing Jack along.
I'm going to take my hatchet off the ground as I trudge towards the house.
Now listen, Jack. There's something very curious. That's your brother looks to me to have been killed over a week ago.
Okay, what are you saying?
I suspect it wasn't him that might have sent us the telegram. It all seems a little bit curious. I think there may be some foul play at work.
I mean, look, that Willie character, I've never heard of him. He's never been here. Benji or Benjamin he's been with my family since I was a child. He always looked after my parents. He was here in the summers when we came back. When my brother moved back, he was here at the start. So I don't know. Whatever happened, Benji, God rest him, I think Willie might have been the cause of that as well. So the first chance we see, you do to Willie what you tried to do to Parker. Not a funny moment. My brother's died, friend. Grieving. Very insensitive.
You mean shoot the blackguard?
Oh, yes. Because if you don't, I'm going to hit him with an axe. But maybe shoot before I get away with an axe.
Now listen, my boy. What you're talking about here is murder. But there's very strange things happening right now. So
it's self-defense. If it'll be our word against no one's if he's dead.
Listen, my boy.
There's already the body of my brother.
There's very strange things happening right now, and truthfully, you were very supportive of me a short time ago when strange things were happening. So I promise you now, as a word of an Englishman, I will do my best to help you out here.
Yeah, you see him, he gets his comeuppance, right? That's what you people say?
Yeah, yes, indeed.
Okay.
Should go and
Deal.
Should go and stick it to them.
Stick it to the man. That's what my people say, yeah. and apparently we're now a crime-fighting vigilante group.
That's right.
This is how Watchmen started.
I feel like Mr. Green is the origin story for Batman.
A really old one.
Sirs, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but look! And Parker is pointing to where this bubble, this scintillating wall is getting closer, but it's beginning to rip apart, and this tentacled head is forcing its way through. Can you give me a spot roll? A spot
Are we going to miss the head?
Just a thing.
Right, you going first, Ewan?
Please. Okay. 12. We'll take it. Versus 40.
Nice.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hard success.
I got.
We'll spend 4 luck to make it extreme success.
That 9 luck's going to save me. Just you watch.
4 luck to spare.
I have failed with a 54.
Okay.
9 off.
So Jack Connolly, you are staring in, I guess, horror or interest or shock at this whatever this thing is that's coming through. This sort of fungaloid creature with membranous rings and many articulated legs. But for a moment, you see beyond it. And beyond this wall, through this rip in the fabric of space-time, you see the world as it should be. Beyond there, you can very, very much see the forest in April. And as this thing rips itself through, its body is now blocking what you see beyond. But right now you're in this kind of rainy winter forest, which is wrong anyway. But for a moment, you saw through this rip the world as it should be.
But is it was it bubble wall, crazy lobster monster, no man's land, and the right? area, or is this like a straight, like, is this a line barrier? Do you get me? Is there like a void between from messed up winter time to
So
April?
you can, because you've had it pointed out to you before, you can see where this wall is. This kind of, it looks like a continuation of the forest, but it's shimmers and it's slightly out of focus. Then there's a rip in it, an actual tear, and beyond that tear, though mostly blocked by this creature, is a summer forest or a spring forest.
And this creature is now stuck in this kind of wall, halfway through, forcing its way through.
It's literally ripping its way through. So it's forcing its through. It's like 15 feet away and moving quite fast towards you.
Okay, look,
Sorry, one more thing. So the last thing is the thing that's blocking it, the thing that seems to be blocking your sight of the spring forest, seems to be a long cylinder, a wide cylinder, maybe about 10 inches in diameter and about, say, 1.5 foot wide, that it seems to be carrying in one of its membranous claws.
Cool. Right. Look, Richie. It's been a touching moment. We've bonded culturally. Either we shoot that thing in the face, or we go kill Willie and then fight this thing. I vote for Willie as a warm up. Then we maybe go on to this whatever this is.
Say this thing's really close to us, right?
It's like 15 foot away. Like it's finding it hard to rip its way in. But it's got so many legs and it's very strong. I mean, it's literally ripping apart reality. You've probably got like, a couple of seconds, like maybe like 30 seconds.
Is it big? Is it like?
Yes. It's like as big as a horse.
Okay. Interesting. Right.
There's no wrong answer here, Duncan. Go for it.
I know.
Whatever you're thinking, it can't be worse than what I initially thought. I went against that instinct.
Oh, it's pretty bad. Go, Jack, go! And Richmond, being an older chap, is not expecting to be able to keep up in this situation, so he's going to be sort of, closing the breach in his shotgun and going as quickly as he can after Jack.
Nice.
So expecting to have to fire shortly.
Perfect. Are you going to fire now, or are you going to wait until an incident happens?
I'm going to see what it does as we start moving away. If it breaks through and suddenly comes for us, then I'm going to let it have it.
Could be like a cat, could be friendly.
I'm hoping we can get away without having to fire at it.
Okay, so Jack Connolly, are you happy to run away from this thing?
Okay. I'm not gone. He goes as far as Jack go, and before he finishes his sentence, okay, God. All Jack is concerned about is getting revenge for his brother on William, who he 100% believes has murdered him.
Okay, so Parker is staring at this thing and has gone ice white, and for a moment he looks like he's going to stay with you, and then he goes, "Sir," and turns around and starts running after Jack Connolly. This thing is forcing its way through, and it's beginning to buzz, and you can hear this cicada-like chittering, and it's louder and louder and louder, and you're feeling it kind of impinging on your eardrums. It's actually painful.
Okay. Is it coming through then?
Yeah, it's almost in there.
Okay. Right. So Richmond's going to see Jack and Parker running for it and say to himself, "Hello there, beastie. Every now and then you have to get the cane out of the cupboard and give something a damn good thrashing." And he's going to fire his shotgun straight at it.
I hope Richie doesn't have kids.
So, are you going to fire one barrel or two?
I'm going to fire one barrel, thinking that it's probably wise to have a second barrel just in case.
Nice. Okay, so give me that rifle / shotgun.
Okay.
This is when you roll a 1, by the way.
Please,
roll a 1. Please. You know what? If I ever rolled a 1, I want it to be right now. No, it's an 85. It's a miss. Oh no!
How much luck do you have?
Plenty, and I'm thinking I'm going to spend lots of it.
So the creature, so your kind of shot goes wild and it crashes into the shimmering wall next to it, and you see this ripple effect, but like multiplied by 1,000 because obviously your shotgun pellets are way more than your stick, and the whole of reality judders for a minute, and you kind of take a step back. It's like you're all within a bubble, and the whole bubble has been knocked to one side. And you feel that, and in fact, all of your characters at this minute will kind of stumble to one side as the entire world begins
Does
to
that
tremble.
mean there's not a gun pointed at me anymore because she's fallen over?
Well, we'll have to.
Roll for luck. That's a luck roll, surely.
I love that. So very, very quickly, meanwhile, back in the attic, could Professor Keen make it? I'm happy to either do your luck roll or Elizabeth's dexterity. You can choose.
I think we'll do my luck roll. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Here we go. And I've
Oh my
got
God.
23 against 52. Yeah.
She doesn't just stumble, but she actually falls over, and she falls backwards away from the trapdoor, giving you a moment. What do you do?
Yeah, I've got the key still on me, so I scramble as fast as I can, and I try to get down the attic, and I pull the string so it closes up on her.
Okay. You are gone, and you start running through the house. Richmond Green, back with you. This creature has now forced its way into your world, into this bubble, and it is facing off with you. It is less than 15 foot away, and it is chittering and buzzing, and it is waving this like cylinder at you.
Waving it at me.
Just sort of like it's waving it menacing.
It's like it's just
It's collecting for charity.
Yeah. It's like it's got a little lantern. It's like, excuse me, its language. I am going to shoot it with a second barrel.
Nice. Okay, give me that rifle shotgun.
Okay. $71. I think I'm about to spend some luck. I need 60. So yeah, I'm going to spend 11 luck.
Okay, nice. Okay, so take that off and give me your damage roll.
Okay. What's the damage for a shotgun?
46.
46. All right.
Oh my god!
Wow.
That's huge.
Okay,
19 damage.
19 damage, yeah.
you have destroyed it. You've struck it straight in this thing that I guess must be a head, and it just splits open, and this kind of fungoid matter just sprays out in streams, like almost like spider webs, attaching itself to the wall and the floor, and it flies towards you and just stops like 2 feet away. And where it touches, the ground changes, like this thing is growing on it, and this creature collapses to the floor in this massive, like it looks like toadstools or this odd mushroom matter, which is obviously out of phase with our world, as it bubbles and hisses and is beginning to kind of like effervesce into the air around you. And the smell is indescribable, this alien abomination to your nostrils, and you feel yourself choking, and I need a con roll.
On roll, okay. Uh-oh. Ooh, come on, 30. Come on. 85.
Oh dear.
Oh.
You can't catch your breath, and you start choking, and you drop to your knees, and the world goes black. John Roy, you have just fired at point blank range into an unmoving, an undefendable target. Can you give me that damage roll?
Okay, what is just handgun?
You can do D10 plus 1.
D10 plus 1. Ooh, well, that's just D10 there.
It ends up being 2 damage.
10! 11 damage!
No way.
It is a heart shot. You have splintered his ribs, and matter, just blood and guts, and blood and the bone matter spray across the stairs, and he just silently drops to his face in front of you.
Oh my god. I like stumble back down the stairs and I just like fall against the wall and Jesus Christ. And he like runs over to one of the rooms that he saw the feet in and he opens up the door.
And then like the whole world just judders for a second and you feel yourself falling forward. Give me that dex roll.
Oh no.
It's almost like an earthquake, but it's not, back and forth. It's like the whole world is just tilted to one side.
What do we got for
Like
dex?
a ship in storm.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
38 versus 50.
So you grab onto the side of the door and you're looking down at the bloody forms of Professor Quinn and Diana, who have been, beaten horrendously. And their bloody forms lay in front of you.
Jesus Christ!
Let's have that sanity roll.
Okay.
You're not hardened.
I rolled a 4. Extreme
Wow.
success.
Good
Okay,
God.
you bite your lip and you're unaffected by the gruesome sight before you.
Oh, I just blew a man's heart out of his chest, so I'm maybe a bit just
This is pretty okay.
I run back out of that room and I start shouting out for Charles. I'm like, Charles, are you here?
And Professor Keene comes running down the stairs towards you.
We need to get the hell out of here. Everything's wrong. I killed a man.
You are absolutely correct. Right, let's go see if the car works.
I'm running with Keen.
Okay.
Along the way, where were you?
So Claire is potentially unconscious, no idea. Upstairs, pretty sure she's Elizabeth.
Yeah, no,
And she held me
is.
at gunpoint to get me to. Oh my god, is that a potty?
Yeah, let's have a sanity roll for Professor Keene.
Did he just miss William on the stairs or David on the stairs?
Yeah. I slipped a little bit on his body, and I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" No, because it's very dark. Whew. Yeah, I'm gonna roll. I've rolled a 75 against a sanity of 59.
Is this
Oh,
where
God,
he goes
God, give
insane
me-
and kills me?
I think give me a d6. Yeah, well, you don't roll 5 or more, or we're having a bout of madness.
D6,
Karen doesn't act madness well. He's never done it before.
Oh, God, no, be a first.
I've rolled a 2.
Oh, you do feel like you're going to be sick. Your kind of gorge rolls up in your chest, and for a moment you're just about to vomit out the martini you had while having drinks and appetizers. Here, it feels like a lifetime ago, but you managed to hold it in.
I like grab him by the shoulder and like just start pulling him back towards the stairs.
Did you kill him, John?
I didn't kill them. I killed that man on the stairs and I shined a flashlight back on the dead guy on the stairs. That's David, William, him and that woman, Elizabeth. They're siblings or something. I don't know, but
So you've killed her brother? She's fucking crazy.
So was he. He killed those two. Let's get out of here, please. This is.
And then I take the key thing and I put it in his hand. I'm like, you have the code for this. This is what they want. And so I'm basically, I'm like, this is what she's after. And let's go see if we can find Richmond Green and Jack.
Let's go.
So you run downstairs at speed. So where are you heading once you get to the bottom floor?
Do we want to?
We'll just try the front door again. We're like, there can't possibly be a wolf again.
Yeah. Okay. So the door, you open the door into this actual thunderstorm, and running towards you through the darkness and the rain is a terribly haggard figure, someone who has literally, or at least figuratively, experienced hell tonight. Jack Connolly.
Oh my god, you're alive!
From the darkness.
We've got to get out of here, guys. That Willie guy killed my brother. I don't know what's happening, but he definitely killed my brother.
Well,
You're just covered in like muck and blood.
Yeah, I'm a dirty mess. There's also weird, like, praying mantis lobster people chasing us.
Where's
They've got
Richard?
Richie.
They got him.
Yeah, look, Parker's coming behind me. He'll tell you, and he's
So
a
if I
trustworthy
take,
Englishman.
if I try to do it like a spot hidden, can I try and see if I can see Richmond in the distance?
So like you look into the dark, and there's not even a sign of Parker. He's not there either.
Oh.
But flying through the woods, like in fact, give me a spot hidden, Professor King, as you're kind of looking into the darkness. You're trying to peer through the storm.
I know I said Parker's here and he's not here, and this looks bad, but trust me, it was Willie.
So I've rolled 14 against 30.
So
Alright, success.
the drive is wide, so like 50 foot away is where the forest is, and flying out of the forest is a terrible creature. This thing that's like half crustacean, half insect, half fungal abomination with these huge membranous wings. It has no face, there's no eyes, it's just this mass of tentacles, and it is flying towards you. And I need the sanity roll.
Absolutely. This time I do throw up. I don't care what I roll. I've rolled.
Oh my god!
I've rolled a 3.
Thankfully,
Okay.
a nice lunch, so it's a tasty vomit.
Yeah, so you still lose 1 sanity from seeing this creature, and you stumble back away from it, slamming the door in front of you.
Oh. Everyone, right, we're not going out there. We're going to have to use the key, John.
Okay, let's go. Let's just go and get.
The hell's the key?
hell?
What are you talking about?
Your brother sent me a letter. It had a code in it. Keen found the key for the machine in the library.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, why not?
doesn't-
Sure, let's try this. There's a lobster mushroom man, something that looks delicious. We battered it and ate it, chasing us down. Let's just get in there and use this key.
Yeah, if it makes you feel any better, William is dead. I killed him.
That helps.
So
Let's go, Jack.
as you say that, marching down the stairs is Claire brandishing
So
her
glad you
gun,
say William.
and she goes, "I noticed that. I'm so glad that you've removed one more obstacle from my path. You say you have the key. Let's use it, Professor Keaton."
That's exactly what I want to do. We're not going out there.
Joke's on you.
Joke's on you. Claire, or should I say Elizabeth?
Oh God.
Actually, the name is Eve Pierce. But that's
So you were pretending to be Elizabeth, who was
Pretending
pretending
to
to be
be-
Claire.
Dr. Connolly had his uses. He helped me create this device. But now it's made, I need it unlocked.
So now that can you? Okay, firstly, let's all go to the library. Clearly, you have it at gunpoint and all that. I'm just saying, why do you want to have access to a time machine?
Well, I have a few, shall we say, ideas of things that could be achieved with such a device.
Let's not be so coy. Why don't you just explain it?
Why don't we just get this machine working, hey? And she
All right,
starts
all right,
gesturing towards her gun, towards the room.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you follow along, the three of you, or do you have something in mind?
My hands are up. I'm already halfway into the wild.
Not dying is my plan.
Yeah.
Is there a different option?
I'm gonna go along with it. I'm gonna make sure like that I'm gonna try to like sneak the gun into like my belt so that she doesn't see it, and then just like put my hands up and move with the other one with the rest of them.
Okay,
She's-
I'm going to need you to make a sleight of hand roll.
You're gonna shoot your ass off. Oh no.
However, like it is really dark, so I'm going to let you roll with advantage. You can have a bonus dice.
Okay, so I do regular roll. Is a 28, and how does the bonus dice work? I just roll a d10.
So you can roll a d10 and it counts as the 10s again. So rather than 20, it could be something else.
Okay, so I get 38 versus.
So 28, what's your sleight of hand?
My sleight of hand is 10, so I don't successfully do that. At all.
Oh no.
So do you wish to spend luck or push this roll?
I will. Oh, I don't push it. If I push it, do I still get the bonus dice?
Yes, yeah, you do.
Okay, I'll push it because I'll kind of
It's a one.
as I'm doing it, I kind of fumble on it, and then I kind of step behind Jack.
Just to
so that
clarify,
she can't really
can you
see it
use-
properly.
Can you use luck on push rolls?
You cannot use luck
I
on push rolls.
only have 17 luck left anyway. Even if I tried to use the 17 luck there, I couldn't have gotten
Oh,
it.
God damn it.
It was a good intimidate roll. Like, it was a good use of luck to get.
Okay.
Oh my God. Man's a genius.
0-4, is that?
Yeah, that's a 4.
Oh, wow. Okay,
It's
so the gun begins to slip out of your grasp, and there's this moment where you see yourself literally just throwing it across the room, and you manage to get your finger caught on the trigger guard and nearly fire the gun, and then manage to stash it in your belt, all while maintaining a complete poker face, and then just raise your hands.
Hands up. I've got the flashlight still. I'm kind of like at the ground. I'm just like, let's go. Let's just get this done.
Don't point the flashlight at the brother, because you won't want to see that.
You're like 2 floors below that right now, and she'd like walked over here. I think she even thanked you for doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you 3 are here. You've made things just so much easier. You've gathered everything together. Now, do I need this? And she points to her gun. You 3 look like men of vision. You must understand the power that we have at our fingertips. We could literally do anything. And you enter the library, and there everything stands as you left it before. The 3 bullet holes in the wall, which John Roy has uncovered. The machine itself, which probably was nicely on this stand, is now scattered across the floor after Professor Keene tried to wear it. And on the left wrist of the machine, so it's got these gloves, there is this gap where this device, this code device, can be entered.
Right. So and I go over and I grab the helmet, and I'm like, "Come on, then, Elizabeth, put on the helmet." I mean, you're the one who wants to use this device, right?
She says, as much as I would like to journey, well, to where I plan to go, let's just see if you really do have what you say you have. Put the device in that thing and enter the code, will you?
Okay. So go on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so it clicks in perfectly, like it's obviously made to be
Can
there.
I whisper something before, as this is happening, discreetly to the 2 guys?
Sure.
Or try?
Yep. So she'll get a listen roll. So that's how we'll probably do that.
What the hell does this thing do, guys?
I have no idea.
Which she fails.
That didn't help me. I really need some information for the next move, but okay, fair enough. Thanks.
I have no idea. It's some kind of time machine, but I don't know how it works. Your brother was working on it. She helped them make it.
Ah, cool. That way more helpful. Thank you, Niall.
Name's John, by the way.
Yeah, I know. John seems like a nice guy. Niall, not so much. So John, so you could go back and stop her ever causing all this mess?
Theoretically, if you know how to use it, yeah. I have the code that she's looking for, but
I mean, what's worse than this situation right now? I mean, I'm happy to volunteer.
I was like, the police are coming, and that'd make it work.
the window's closed this time. It's loud. I'm next to a road.
I'll volunteer. Can you send me back to the beginning of March?
I don't know how to use the machine. I can try, but sure. Go for it.
And I'll put the helmet, I'll grab the helmet off Professor Keene and I guess put it on. Look, if you're going to shoot me anyway.
There's a pair. So I give him the other gloves and the other shoes because there's other bits.
And Elizabeth goes, "Oh, no. Enter the code first. I don't want you gentlemen wearing this thing till we've come to some sort of agreement." And she nods towards...
But how do you know it works? Isn't that the whole thing? You want, you guys at gunpoint to put us in this weird thing to kill my brother?
Just put the code in.
Is it 7?
Jack doesn't know this code.
So she is going to shoot you. God, Jack.
She's going to try. Why? I'm helping. I'm trying to help.
Okay. She rolls a success. I need you to get me a dodge roll.
Oh boy. Dodge is half your dex, isn't it? Oh,
It is, yeah.
fantastic. I rolled a 45 versus, oh boy, 25. It's really hard to move in this helmet and gloves.
Okay, so the gun goes off. There's this flash of smoke, and you feel this pain in your stomach, and you feel yourself drop to the floor as you take 4 points of damage.
As a reaction, can I pull out my gun and shoot her?
Ooh, I'm helping.
Well,
Because she's distracted and she's not focusing on me right now.
It's all part of the plan, boys.
so that would be basically what she's got is almost like a surprise round. She has a drawn gun and she's literally pointing at you. So all she needs to do is draw the trigger. So we can do that next round.
Okay.
But obviously, because she has a gun drawn, she gets quite a significant addition to her dex. However, let us
surprise.
Change the camera very briefly
To our old friend Rich.
Your old friend Rich.
Britannia.
You open your eyes to the horrendous, shocking form of Parker leaning over you, his cigarette breath breathing into your mouth. Sir, please say you're alive. God, I should never have left you. Please, sir. Oh, thank God. I'd never have forgiven myself if I'd lost another client. I mean, if you died.
What? Parker, what's going on?
I had 2 shots. Came running back. And
Wait a minute, what do you mean lost another client?
I don't know what you mean, sir.
Okay, very good. So, what's going on? Where's that thing?
Please, we need to go. And he points, and like the bubble, the wall is like mere inches away. He's trying to drag you away from it. Please, sir, we've got to get out of here.
Very good, very good. Let's go. Do I still have my gun?
You do. You do still have your gun.
Very good. I'm going to start going along as fast as my old legs can carry me, whilst trying to reload.
So you don't have very much memory of your journey through the forest. You remember stumbling and Parker catching you, and Parker stumbling and you catching him because the path's gone now. The path's been absorbed by this wall. This your reality is crumbling into this tiny sphere that basically only contains a small part of the forest and the house. And as you burst from the clearing, you see in front of you 3 of these creatures descending towards the house from the sky above, and they enter through the one into the attic, one into the second floor, one into the first floor. They're not even like going through windows; they're just ripping through the walls themselves. What do you do?
Richmond's going to go for the front door, shouting for Jack. Yeah, he's going to go to the front door, burst in. Jackie boy!
You throw the door open, and you hear a gunshot coming from the library.
Okay. He immediately heads towards the sound of the gun. Then.
So you burst in just as Jack Connolly drops the floor, bloodstain spreading across his shirt. Jack, you take 4 hit points of damage, and we are going to go in Dex order. But obviously, because Elizabeth, Claire, or whatever her name is, has a drawn gun, she will get an advantage, but so will you, Richmond, because you have a drawn gun, and you also have the surprise. So...
She shoots me. Get out of my way, good man.
Around, she is going to point her gun at the 2 of you still standing, and she's going to say, "Enter the code."
I will do that immediately. So I just put in the slot, and I just start putting in the code.
Perfect. Do you remember the code? Because you've got... You've I need an intelligence roll.
Okay, we'll see if I remember the code. So against 60, I roll an 11. Yes, I remember it exactly, of course.
So at that moment, Richmond Green, you burst in behind her. You have the initiative.
So Richmond doesn't really know what's going on here, but he can see that Jack has been obviously shot by this lady. But shooting a lady is very ungentlemanly. So what he's going to do is aim his shotgun at her, marching towards her kind of like purposely, and try and intimidate her. Drop that gun now!
Give me that intimidate roll.
Looking for a 50.
70-year-old man walking in with a shotgun.
That's right.
Young lady, drop that weapon.
You can absolutely
well.
you can have a bonus dice because you are very intimidating right now, dripping with rain, covered in mud, looking like some creature from the Battle Lagoon.
Ooh, my first roll's 56, so I'll roll another d10 to be the advantage. 36.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
She is incredibly intimidated, and she just drops the gun and puts her hands up, and she goes, "Well played, sir. Well played."
Get back! Move away! Move away from them! Jack, are you okay?
Not really. I'm like, it really is. It hurts. Like, I could do with a doctor, but I think I'm okay.
Okay.
It really hurts.
Richmond's going to be sort of like going over, still pointing his gun at her.
She doesn't seem very intimidated, to be fair. She looks very calm, and she very purposely, and almost like she's pleased, like, has dropped the gun. She doesn't seem that worried that you're pointing the shotgun at her.
Okay, so Richmond's going to say, does anyone know first aid?
At this point, I think I've finished the code.
Okay.
Do you know what make me feel better, Richie? If you shot her, I really like it. She's really been a bad person.
So the device starts humming, and the whole room starts kind of like vibrating, as if this device is literally in sync with the physicality of the room itself. And you feel your whole body kind of swaying and aligning with it. And as you touch the device, everything stops, and you don't feel sick, you don't feel worried. Everyone else in the room is looking like they're actually going to be ill, whereas for you, touching the device, you feel in harmony, in sync.
Huh.
And you actually seem to be moving a little bit faster than everyone else as well.
Really? So I run over and I give Claire a slap because she can't react in time. You've been very bad.
She actually does look quite shocked for a moment, and she falls back and she says really slowly, "You will regret that, sir."
Right. There. And I take her gun away because she's dropped it already.
Yeah.
And I go over and I put the gun into Jack's hand, and I'm like, this is amazing. Wonder what else I could do. So can I try and perhaps move reality with my will?
You're going to have to put on the boots and the gloves and the backpack.
Okay, and I can do that very quickly. I just like
to everyone else, this is really fucking weird. Like, he is moving double time, and I need sanity rolls from all of you.
That's really hard.
I'm just going to say, if you fail, take one sanity off, and I'm going to focus on Professor Keane, if that's okay. So just jot it on your character sheet. Right. So if you pass, you've gone through this a lot. I think it's probably normal. So Curran, carry on. What are you doing? You've put on the suit.
I've put on the full suit, and I'm trying to bring us back to back in time. Everyone in this room, I'm trying to bring us back to when Connolly was originally still alive. So from what I understand would be 3-4 days ago.
So you feel your mind splitting infinitely into spirals, and you realize that this is impossible. There is no way that a three-dimensional being can understand 4 dimensions, no more than an ant can appreciate the Eiffel Tower, no more than people of Flatland can understand what 3D shapes are like. But then suddenly you see it. The world, the room flattens out in front of you, and you can push your hand through it like you could push your finger through a 2D painting. And then suddenly you see your room, this scene, again and again and again, infinitely spiraling into the distance. And you turn, you see it again behind you. Every single possibility that's happened, every single possibility that could happen in every single direction. And then suddenly you feel your mind crumble and you cannot take this. How can a single being understand how time works while still taking into account the fact that you are on a spinning planet which is spinning round an enormous solar entity, which is itself spinning through the galaxy itself? There's too much for one person to take on, and I need you to give me a power roll.
I've got a power of 60. I don't know if I'm going to. It's going to be good. We'll see. I've rolled a 4.
Oh my god!
And Professor Keene vanishes. And so does the time machine. Meanwhile, Claire pushes herself up from the ground where this blurred figure had knocked her away, stealing her gun. And she goes, "Don't know what just happened, but the three of you are gonna pay." And then descending through the ceiling is this fractal entity, this spinning diamond, this awful creature from beyond that you cannot comprehend. And it starts descending towards John Roy and Richmond Green, who are standing shoulder to shoulder. What do you do?
Shoot her. I have no other options right now.
Give me that firearms roll.
Oh, this is gonna be bad because I actually
Please,
don't
God.
have firearms.
I just want to say as well, while we're doing the roll, is when I took the gun, I gave it to Jack. So Jack has Elizabeth's gun.
You did mention that.
No, you
Jack,
didn't.
he did.
Oh, he said it. I heard it.
He said he'd get picked up.
You'll have to travel back in time and tell Cohen in the past to do that. That would have been
He
a great
did.
idea.
He did it.
He
He did it at the time.
He picked up Eve's gun and put it in Jack's hand.
He
You know
actually
what?
said that.
I actually think you did do that, yeah. I think you
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Joe,
No. You can't edit this. You can't edit this mistake out, Joe. It's live.
chat, please back us up here. See, look,
John Roy, give me that
I
gun.
rolled 87 versus 20.
Your shot goes wild, and she just pushes herself to her feet, smiling. Richmond Green, what do you do?
Richmond wants to fire one shot at her with the shotgun, and then he's going to raise the gun up to fire at whatever this thing is coming down through the ceiling.
Okay, so
That's
give
what
me
the plan
the
is.
first shot versus her.
Okay. Come on.
We'll take it too.
2 will be good. He fires. 37 is a hit. 60.
Okay, so she is going to try and dodge. She gets a 39, but that is actually a fail. So she takes the blast in her chest, but it crashes
46,
into
right?
what seems to be a shimmering shield. This fractal shield appears in front of her, blocking the shots, and she smiles and says, or begins to say, "The power of Yog-Sothoth." And let's see if your damage is enough to penetrate the shield.
46 again, is it?
46.
Yeah, 46, yeah.
Oh my god, 19
wow.
again.
It's just like last time.
God.
Oh, Christ. Okay, so how much
Betty
is
never
that?
lets you down.
Wow.
19.
Yeah, 19, yeah.
Okay.
Betty is a mighty fine rifle.
Bessie is,
Okay, so
You see Bessie, she's a wonderful girl.
her
Betsy
shield
envy.
stops it and then suddenly just explodes in front of you. Shimmering crystals flying off in all directions before fading to nothing. And her smile disappears as she clutches her chest as a few of those pellets have gone through, staining her blouse. Jack Connolly, lying on the floor, bleeding. What do you do?
So can Jack tell that? Like, does he think there's any life left in her?
Yeah. She's still standing. Like, she's hurt, but she's... I mean, this should have destroyed her, but she is probably not even as badly hurt as you are.
So I'm going to So I'm basically doubled over on the floor, fell onto my side. Like, basically, after the gun's put in my hand, just point at her and shoot for the trunk of her body.
Okay, give me that. Give me that gun roll.
Come on, please be a 29. At least I can use luck then. I rolled a 4! It's an extreme success!
Oh,
Come on,
gosh.
boys!
Okay, so extreme success is full damage plus damage. So I think we said this was a D10 plus 1. So it does 11 damage plus. Well, give me that roll.
That's amazing.
Plus 5. No, sorry, plus 8.
7. Oh, do you get a +1 to your?
Yeah. So 11 plus 8 is 19 total.
Well, well,
We're the
her hit
greatest team
points.
ever.
Wow. Yes. So her hit points are significantly less. She has 9 hit points.
Oh wow.
So her head just
disappears.
explodes in a bloody mist, and she drops to the ground, and this fractal entity starts spinning faster and faster, and these like jagged, like it's quite even at first, almost like a diamond, or sort of very even, very symmetrical, and it's no longer anymore. It is out of control, and these long jagged spikes all over it begin growing and just jutting in every direction, and where they slam into the floor or the wall or a piece of furniture, it leaves a blackened mark, and it's completely removing whatever it touches from reality itself. When you look down at the floor where that's just been holed, you're like, oh yeah, the floor's always been like that. That's a bit odd. Why did they build the house like this? That's stupid. And it is going crazy. Meanwhile, from above, you can hear this horrendous chittering sound as the creatures from beyond the bubble are descending towards you. Meanwhile, Professor Keen has jumped through time. Now, there is no way to be accurate with this thing. Like, despite the fact you have grabbed onto your understanding of how you can possibly thrust yourself back in time, you haven't done exactly what you wanted. You've not gone back as far as you had originally planned.
Oh.
You find yourself flying and land in a darkened room. You crash into someone with a thud, knocking them to the ground. You look up. It's like you're in a... Can this be right? It's like a stable. How can you be in a stable? Where's the stable? And you remember, there is a stable in this house. And like groaning on the floor is Parker. And he's like... Oh, and he's holding a cigarette. He's like, God, what? How... Where did you come from? And suddenly there's this shotgun blast which goes and blows across the stable where Parker had literally just been standing. You've just saved his life. But before you can say anything, you feel yourself being dragged out of time. You're not stable. You're not phased with this reality anymore. You're not phased with time. You're not phased with space. Give me that power roll. Can you regain some of this momentum? Can you get to a place that you want to get to?
Like Doc Brown checking the picture.
74 against 60. Can I use 14 luck?
And unfortunately, you cannot use luck on this roll, but you can push the roll. As you feel your very essence being destroyed. Like you feel yourself, you're wiping yourself from reality.
Whoa. So to push the roll, I'm going to try and put my hands on the helmet and think really, really hard about where I want to go.
Give yourself a pep talk.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
It's like, Charles, if you've ever had a moment where you needed to do something, this was it. This was it. This is your moment. Right. And I rolled
72.
And you, with that 77, that fail, you find yourself tumbling out of reality. You have lost yourself. You see images of this house, this area blurring. You see everybody arrive. You see Elizabeth driving up the driveway, arm in arm or arm round your friend Professor Connolly. Then you're thrust back further. You see the house being built. Then you see the forest changing and growing, and you're lost. It gets faster and faster and faster and faster. You see the strange people dressed completely different. You see strange animals, and then you go further and further and further, and you see snow, and you see ice, and then you see volcanoes, and you see ash, and you see for a moment this flaming meteorite descending towards the ground, and then blackness. Meanwhile, back in the room, the scintillating fractal figure is going absolutely crazy. What do you do?
I mean, the machine's been activated, right?
The machine's gone.
Oh, all of it, even the other set?
Everything's gone. Yeah, the other set is attached to it. It's like someone could go with him, like be a passenger. I'm going to give you a round, and I'm going to start asking for dodge rolls as this thing is like spiraling out of control.
The hell out of this room!
Run away!
Yeah, Richmond, help me with Jack. I'm like try to grab him. Now this is a 60-something-year-old and a 70-something-year-old trying to pick up a what? How old is Jack? How much does Jack weigh?
I'm a svelte 47.
Okay, well we're just two older men
do this.
To carry him out of the room.
So you can do it. I'm not going to ask for a strength roll, but as you enter the corridor, excuse me, descending down the stairs are 3 insectoid creatures, floating and buzzing. One of them is carrying like a device with at the end which seems to be like a burning ember from a cigarette, and it's pointing at you. The other 2 are each carrying these like cylinders, these each one about 10 inches long and maybe like 1.5 feet high, and they're buzzing. And their buzzing is communication. They are trying to talk to you. But I'm going to need a power roll from each of you to see if you can engage on this purely mental level.
Let's see if we can engage.
Can you link psyches with these creatures from beyond?
Yes, I succeeded. I got a 48 versus 60.
Did you say power roll?
Yeah.
So I rolled an 80. I'm going to push the roll, because I'm like shaken up from getting shot in the stomach. I'm going to just steel myself for a second and really focus on the buzzing and try and work out what's happening. Please, God. Oh! 98! Do you know what the worst thing is? With the 80, I was 1 off with my luck from just passing. God Christ.
Okay, so that is actually a fumble. So normally I would say a sanity roll. But I think with a fumble, we're just going to skip the sanity roll, and we're going to go right to the sanity damage.
Oh, cool.
And I think again with a fumble, I think it's probably fair to say full damage
10.
is about right. So I think we're going to go for 6 full damage for your sanity, as you try and engage with these alien creatures, these fungi from Yoggoth, these completely beings that are nothing like anything that you've ever come across and have ever possibly imagined. And you can't take it. Well, or can you? You want to give me an intelligence roll?
Oh, baby, these are my new best friends. Okay, versus 60.
Well, this is probably one you want to fail, because if you pass, then you do get it.
Oh,
66.
Wow.
Versus 60.
You can't build this into your understanding. You can't engage with this. Your mind just sort of breaks. And you almost step back, and this can't be happening. This must be a dream. That's it. You're in a dream, or maybe you're hallucinating. You're probably snoozing in the car on the way to this, and you're fine with it. You can cope.
Jack starts calling out for his brother Kenneth and Benji, randomly kind of just walking around the foyer looking for his family.
Richmond Green, how did you on that power roll?
I got a big pass. I rolled 26. My target was 70.
Wow. Okay, you both understand these creatures. They are saying, the time machine is... I'm going to regret doing that voice. I can't. The time machine is lost. This reality is almost over. We offer you escape. And they click open these devices, these metal jars that pop open. And within is an actual jar. And inside this bubbling liquid and wires, and you suddenly understand what they are offering you. This is a brain jar. They are offering you safe passage to their home planet in the only way they know how to transport beings like you.
I mean, Roy is looking around. I mean, damn.
You must choose.
What do you mean this reality's ending?
And from outside, you hear this like incredible crash, but it feels not like a crash of thunder. It sounds like a footstep of a mighty creature, something huge, something primordial, and a terrible roar comes from it. And suddenly, the side of the house is rent open by the gleaming maw of a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh!
And riding on the back of it is none other than Professor Keen.
I've come to save the day.
What?
And
Is that a
its
sanity
jaws
roll?
descend towards the creatures. And I think a sanity roll from everybody.
Yeah.
Including me?
No, you go
No,
on.
I think you're indefinitely insane right now.
Can we say that my
you're not
entire-
according to the rules, but no.
All of my clothes have changed, and I've got like materials made of
so
like
animal sins.
yeah, exactly, yeah. I've lived a very long life. You've no idea.
I got. All
I'm full Jumanji here.
All three of us failed.
Nope, this is too much.
This can't possibly be happening. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I think this is so crazy. I think we're gonna go with a full D12 for everybody. Let's see what that does. A 1 apparently.
Hey!
Hey,
I got a 9. Goodbye, sanity.
So the first creature turns its ray towards this creature, and this ray of super hot air strikes it, peels back its skin, but it still descends towards it. And in one huge mighty bite, because I realize we've only got a few minutes left, 3 creatures are engulfed. The Tyrannosaurus Rex drops the ground beneath its foes, and the 4 of you are left in the crumbling remains of the house. Out the window, you see, or out the descending broken walls of the house, you see the bubble getting closer and closer and closer. There is only the house left. What do you do?
Well, I lost 9 sanity there. So I was already down. I was already down 3.
I think what I was going to do is I said D12 for everyone, so it's just a 1 for everybody.
he rolled
Okay.
it.
Yeah, rather than doing individual. Yeah, so
It's a close call, Duncan.
somehow this is
yeah, that was that. Whew.
I thought I was crazy there for a minute.
Yeah, I'm just going to ignore the big old 12 I rolled.
As the 3 of them are talking and patting each other in the back, I walk by in the front going, Kenneth! Benji!
and this wall is approaching you. What do you do?
Keen, what the? What? What do we do?
I was held back in time, and I've managed to get just enough for this machine to work. I think I can maybe get one more time to work. Quickly, back to the library, or what's left of it.
So
There's an extra
like,
pair of gloves and boots, right?
but they were
They're
like
attached
wrapped
to the
around the T-Rex's. It's like it's somehow you've managed to wrap it around the T-Rex. So you'd have to unstrap it, but you can only take one person with you. And Jack Connolly, what do you do? So obviously you've kind of run into the outside, and the wall, this shimmering sphere, is right in front of you.
So the last thing Jack Connolly saw, and he's somewhat semi-insane, was he saw something trying to tear through the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So can I get in my car and try and drive through the wall and see what happens?
So you definitely can. So you step in, and
It's a concrete wall.
You hit the concrete wall full on
Out the windscreen.
And the three of you hear this crash from outside.
Hold up. I'm not gunning it from a mile away.
I thought that's what you literally said.
Oh, no. Okay. I meant up against the wall, like trying to push through it. Like your man slowly forces his way through the lobster mushroom monster thing.
Okay.
I'm not going from like 200 yards at probably 25 miles an hour because it's the 20s. I want to try and push through it like with brute force.
Okay, so you get in, you strike your car up, and the car engine is revving and revving and revving, and the wall is getting closer and closer, and you push into it, and you feel the car going back, and it's being pushed against it, and it's actually somehow wheel spinning, and then the front of the car pushes through, and it disappears, and then the next part of the car pushes through, and you can see this wall pushing towards you, and you can't see anything beyond. It's like the front of the car has been cut off, and the wall is now halfway up the bonnet. It's approaching the windscreen. What do you do?
I'm gonna risk it. This is, I'm like a lobster, right? I'm hard on the outside. I'm not gonna get cut in half. Definitely not.
So you feel it touching your feet, and for a moment you have this feeling of your legs breaking, your toes being pushed against an impenetrable object, and then suddenly you feel very, very, very cold. And you are absorbed into the wall. Everyone else, together, next to the corpse of a T-Rex. And the crush.
I'm there with another helmet and gloves. And someone put this on immediately. We must get out of here.
John runs for it. He goes.
Yeah. You go for it, John, old boy. I've got an idea. Having seen what happened like with the lady with the big shimmering shield and stuff and the creature tearing its way through, Richmond wonders if he might be able to shoot a hole through this wall.
So who's putting on the device?
John.
Okay, and who's wearing the attachment to the side?
I am. Still wearing it. That's how I got T-Rex to come through.
So as Richmond Green fires into this wall that is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, the two of you attach yourself to the device, and once again, Professor Keene, you try and engage with time itself.
Yes.
Let's see if you can save the story.
I haven't saved the story?
Go on, 28 against 60. Woo, hard success.
And you fly into the past. Whew. And that, I believe, could be an ending.
What happened to poor Richmond?
That definitely is an epilogue for what happened to me. I assume I'm dead, but like
I'm assuming, yeah.
So
Exactly how I think. Yeah.
Jack Connolly, you fly forwards through reality, and you feel the wall covering over your head, and suddenly you are looking around. You are in a clearing. You're outside the house. It is April. It is probably about 6 o'clock, early evening. There's an explosion behind of you. You spin round, and there is Richmond Green. He is looking very, very confused.
a dead T-Rex.
The house is looking completely whole. And the door opens, and you are greeted by Professor Keene, John Roy, and Professor Connolly, alive and well.
Well, thank goodness for that. I wasn't sure what happened to you boys.
Richmond, how about we have that brandy and I tell you about this proposal?
Come on in, boys. Time for a drink, I think.
My boy.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
And I think that is probably a very, very good place to leave this story. So a huge thank you to everyone at home for listening. Thank you for everyone on Twitch for watching. I hope you've enjoyed our little journey through time. I want to say a huge thank you to Owen, who played Jack Connolly.
Thank you
so much. Thank you for Niall, who played John Roy.
Thank you.
A huge thank you to Curran, who played Professor Keene.
You're welcome.
A huge thank you to Duncan Rhodes, our special guest, for playing the amazing Richmond Green.
My pleasure. A lot of fun.
And finally, we cannot forget the amazing person behind the production. A huge thank you to Aram. Thank you so much for everything you've done. And that is us done. We will still be around for a few minutes to answer any questions, discuss T-Rexes in Call of Cthulhu.
It doesn't do as much damage as Richie's shotgun to the T-Rex.
Thank you again. And that is us done. That was the code.
Oh my god. What are the guy? Caramed just got back and said, I had to pee. How did it go in the end? I got to the minute where they put on the machine.
Oh boy.
I hope.
You're not going to believe what just happened.
Now, I don't know if that was the first time we put on the machine or the second time we put on the machine, but if it was the first time, a lot.
No, Carmid had the comment of the night earlier. It was in the first half. Carmid, what was your comment of the night? I forget what it was. It's so far back, we'll be able to find it. He's been on fire all game.
That was a blast, guys.
I'm supposed to be. Am I expected to try and pull a Q&A out of that horror show? Am I? Any questions in the chat while we're talking?
I think, yeah. So, I mean, this is a absolutely fantastic scenario. So, it is in Chaosium's new release, which is Mansions of Madness Volume 1, which has quite a few of the original scenarios from the Mansions of Madness, including Mr. Corbett, not including the Sanatorium, which is really sad because I think that's hopefully going to be in Volume 2, but it also includes the code. Now, the way it's written is the first part is very, very structured and gives you loads of things to work with, lots of different ideas for like ripples and time, some of which I used, some of which I didn't. But it kind of gives you no real idea at the end, but it does say, if you're going to go really crazy, you could use a T-Rex. And I was like, yes, somehow that is going to happen. And I was very aware that we were running out of time. And I felt that was a possible end.
You can obviously tell you're a big Jurassic Park fan because the crystal thing's vision was also based on movement, like the Velociraptors in Jurassic Park.
yeah. So, I mean, obviously, Claire or Eve is the actual sort of main antagonist, and so that was actually her. She had that chain to her control. So the idea was that she can use that to defend herself. It's like one of the spells in her spell book, which is hidden somewhere in the house, lets you summon a fractal entity. She also has like a shield in front of her, which you blew through using your shotgun.
Okay, let's big props to the damage rolls from Duncan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
I created damage rolling Cthulhu for the first time ever as well, which was nice.
The clutch rolls when they were necessary.
yeah, they came in well.
The finest moment for the chat as well was when you went up to the attic and described that crystal spell creature. Someone went, "Ooh, a save point." Good times. So, we'll start off with some questions, guys. If you have it in chat, throw it up and we'll get to it. Duncan, how was that for you? I guess.
That was really fun.
Run the mill for the rest of us.
Yeah, really fun. I didn't expect to survive it. With the big monster crawling through the tear in reality, and then the threat level escalating more and more. I was pretty sure I was going to be a goner in some weird, horrifying way. Very surprised to have come through it alive, and all of us alive as well.
Yeah, I was I thought I was dead the second that William walked into the room behind me.
Yeah, you played that pretty well, to be fair.
So when I used the time machine, I had no intention of trying to really save all of us. Because you can understand is that Charles
I assumed you were going there
first and
as well.
foremost,
You could have just gone
a
back.
complete coward, and then
You could have just claimed it as your own.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Jack was at least going to go back and try and kill someone to prevent the whole thing, like, like killing baby Hitler type scenario. I was like, yeah, this won't happen. That was my plan. I was like, what does this thing do? Niall goes, I don't know. I was like, what fuck is my plan?
As my character, I didn't know.
Didn't you?
It's true.
Oh, he had no idea.
Oh. There you go.
Jack, so, and you were just ripping on me, like, I was like, I'm not gonna meta.
I thought Jack tweeted at some point. My bad. Or not Jack, sorry. What was your guy's name? John. So then those weird lobster bug things, were they going to help us, Joe?
So they're not in the scenario. So my idea was right? Is that the Migu, they basically got hint that there is this time device, and I imagined that there was this basically when Dr. Connolly first used the time device, he basically fractured time, which was broken, which is why all this crazy stuff was happening in the house. And then time, I imagined that time would try and heal itself. So the bubble is basically anything in the bubble is broken, anything outside the bubble is normal reality. And what they wanted to do is trying to get in, grab the device, and then leave. So their goal was to try and get hold of this device for their own nefarious means. So they had flown down from Yoggoth, Pluto, I think, in the story. They'd torn their way in, and their goal was to get the device. So they were kind of a separate story. But in the story, they've got something called the Chilex, I don't know. And like, it's a nice idea, but I quite like the idea of using Migos, and I wanted something that was a bit more visceral in description, a bit more scary. Like, I think a lot of this scenario, the whole way I try to GM it is just always raising stakes. The bit in the woods isn't really in the scenario. Like, I think it does give you the option of finding Professor Connolly's corpse, but it's much more like if they go on the woods, I guess they could find this. But then I felt that was a really nice thing to include, particularly because you've got Claire saying one thing and then you finding him dead somewhere else, or you seeing him alive and then you suddenly the next scene he's dead. So I thought that was quite a cool thing to go into.
So we do the question then of what are your thoughts and reflections on the production and format from our end, from the players? It looks and sounds great for the viewers.
I was going to say that's probably, well, for the visual side, that's probably something Aram could address.
He might pop in if he can hear us. If not, I'm sure he's going to say it's fantastic because Aram is good at what he does and he knows it too.
Yeah.
This is a fabulous.
Sorry, it's hard for me to talk at the same time because I'm hearing myself doubled right now because of how the audio
is
set up. But yes, thank you. It was
worst.
a lot of fun to produce this, and I can't wait until we do our next show.
Yeah.
It's me in 2 weeks on Friday, which is going to be amazing.
Oh, that is something to call out while people are still around. The next one, because it's part of the D&D celebration weekend, is going to be on a Friday. Joe is going to tell you the time. 8 o'clock, is it?
No, so it's 7 p.m. GMT, I think. I'm not sure what it is.
So it's 11 a.m. PST, 7 p.m. GMT, and it's 2 o'clock EST. So Eastern time, it's 2 o'clock. Pacific time, it's 11 o'clock a.m. And for them over there, it's 7 p.m. GMT, UK, Ireland.
If you want to check out, like, we've got character art done for myself, Niall, Curran, and special guests each week. Joe will be the GM. Like, we've got character art for our 3 characters. We'll be sharing all that over on Does It Roll on Twitter, and it's class. Shout out to Ben, who we will link on our Twitter as well. That's doing all the character art.
Yes, his character art is
amazing.
Actually, I hope
Ben Draws Life. He's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Joe, because I could not remember it.
So good. No, I mean, I'm really glad you enjoyed it. I think, obviously, maybe I escalated a bit too far at the end with the T-Rex, but I was definitely, I was very keen to use it.
That was my favorite part, I think.
I was like, he's bringing a great old one. It's like T-Rex, like, oh, well, I guess. Maybe.
Like the big stuff, like what? Are you going to have like Nyarlathotep or something just stepping on it?
I was just really pleased to tie it back together with obviously Duncan shooting Parker in the last episode. And then there's this is why he was alive.
That was so good.
I really
that was so good.
I really like that. I had a slight fear that he was actually going to have shot Jack instead. And like the whole thing, we thought it was Parker, but no, that's how Jack was going to check out. Thankfully not, though.
I think the looping things in, like, for example, when you shot the bubble and then it caused the shake, and then that knocked over Elizabeth, and then I could escape. And then
that was your idea. That was amazing.
Yeah, and then I went back in time, and I actually saved Parker's life. So Parker's still with us. Good.
It's good. He can drive me home.
Well, I mean, until I guess you use the time machine again and fracture reality again, and the whole thing starts again.
Yeah, it's not a question, but that's a great comment. Go on, Karen. You have it.
Oh, he said, Tawana Thorth Wecht was perfect.
So what happens? Did we ever see what happened, Benji? I kept wanting Benji to turn up to save the day. I kept mentioning him. Hope, like, come on, tie this in somewhere, Joe.
So my original idea was to have him buried alongside the Kenneth, but I didn't really feel how I could bring it in at the time. I think this scenario, like, they recommend 2 sessions. So you think the average session is just 4 hours, and you think 8 hours. So we only had like half that time. And I think the scenario itself does give you a lot more, I guess, meat to some of the detail. I've tried to kind of push out as much of the story as possible because I wanted it to feel like it had an arc, like a beginning, a middle, and end. And I wanted to feel like a lot of loose ends were tied off, which hopefully I did well. But at the same time, the pace of it was very pushed. And I really didn't want to interrupt you, but sometimes I did feel that I was kind of like, right, we need to get to the next scene.
It's like, I'm going to say this. You're like, God pointed at you. Get on.
It was like part 1, 2, and 3 is like build up. Part 4 is just shit hits the fan, and it's just all out wild. Then, like,
and to be fair, like, as the guy who gives Joe the most crap for doing that on the show, I didn't think it was that bad, because in Call of Cthulhu that kind of happens. Like,
no, it worked perfectly.
It's like 70% of what the fuck's going on. And like, oh right, everything's burning. Like, that's kind of how the show goes. You know, I thought it felt natural.
I think when we came back from the break today, it went straight to you guys, me blowing the spine out of
that was so good.
You escaped in the attic, and you guys having that creature pulling through the rift coming towards you in the forest, and Duncan blowing his brains out.
Do you know what my first instinct was when I saw that monster? Try and run at it and get through the gap behind it. That was my first instinct. I was like, man, I need a lot of rolls to go my way, though.
But if you'd done it, you'd probably have succeeded, although you may have written yourself out of the scenario, so it would have been interesting.
Yeah, but like surviving for me in Call of Cthulhu was a big day for me.
But ultimately, I don't think the Migu are like necessarily antagonistic. Like, they'd come for the time machine, and then they'd maybe offer you all a scope in their brain jars. Like,
they have an objective, like a really logical objective.
Yeah.
If Professor Keane didn't come through the wall, John Roy was going to be in that space jar like that.
Yeah,
he was gone.
That's why I pushed the roll. I was like, I've got a way out.
What would happen if we'd taken the brain jar option?
I don't know what happened if we took the brain jar option.
I don't really know. Like, I guess, so one of my regrets is I wish I'd maybe extended that scene a bit more. Like, I think it was kind of like present this awful option, and then as you're kind of going like, fuck, this is the ending. Oh my God. Man, there's T-Rex.
I'd love to do another scenario with all of these characters and everything that's happened as canon, so I can constantly refer to my Tawana Thorth Wecht.
Or like, no, how about we do the final scene of
I raised my Tawana Thorth Wecht from a very young age. His name was Brian, and he was very nice.
He was a good boy, the best boy.
He was your best boy.
No, we should what we should have is like Professor Keane going to every scenario of Call of Cthulhu we've had so far, and like stopping Owen from opening the jar, and like stopping Curran from punching the guy in the throat.
These are great jokes, guys. These are great jokes. If you want to check out what I was talking about, go to howweroll.com. Just to go back to what Joe said on presenting with this horrendous option, by show of hands for people who aren't Curran, who felt that the brain jar was a terrible option? Yeah, we all would have taken it, right? Okay, Duncan wouldn't have taken it. I was like, I'm getting the jar. 100% I thought it was the way to go. I was like,
I would rather not exist.
Like I think Aram is.
We may be gone. We're back. Whoops! We take it back. He's not the best at what he does. It was a. So, do we want to do any quick final thoughts going around the table, guys? If you have any questions or anything you want to ask us players.
Wolfman said the T-Rex was Greg 2.0.
It's just an evolved form of Greg. It's just the wideable Greg, that's all.
I would have loved. So again, obviously, we're on a very, very tight time scale. We had 4 hours to put across the entire story with all that, getting in all this stuff. Like, it felt very packed. I hope it came across really well. Obviously, I had the sort of DM that it would go really, really well. Then I just remember the 3 things that I wish I'd done differently. So that's probably what I'll focus on for the next 3 days.
Tell you, I was a player. It was.
No, it was fantastic. I had a blast. At least I think.
And me and Niall, the first week to tell you your crap. So like, there you go.
Chat. If any feedback you have, throw our way, because this is obviously the first time we've done a live show of this, rather than our podcast where we cut out a lot of waffle. So
the first one with Niall, anyway. The sanatorium was very live.
Oh yes,
more live. Was it?
We had like people, so you could pay to and like make things happen. I think someone paid a whole ton of money, made everyone lose their shit.
I was mental straight away. Like, yeah.
But what I was going to say is, despite pushing forward, one of my biggest regrets is that we didn't get to hear more from your characters. I would love to have had sort of some scenes that really played out. It was a great one between Duncan and Owen when they found the body, and that was great. And I really didn't just step back and let it play out. And there could have been so many more scenes like that where you talked about. I know in the book it suggests that before you start the story, each of you play out a little improvised scene of how you know Professor Connolly to really kind of get you together. I think I loved all your characters, and I'd love to have heard more from them. I think it was. I'd love the idea of revisiting them someday. It'd be really cool.
I think most of my like best points in Call of Cthulhu is usually whenever my character's alone and not interacting with anyone else.
I wasn't sure how like going into. I wasn't sure what I thought of Jack Connolly. I was like. But there's the same with all my characters called Cthulhu. Like the character comes out, or I write the character as I play when I have someone to play with. In this case, it was Duncan for a lot of it. So like, it's nice to have someone who plays nice.
Yeah,
the other guys don't. That makes it sound like shit. Fuck all the rest of my castmates. No, but it like for me, that's how my characters come about generally. That and the dice.
I just wanted to be a very silly professor.
Yeah, your voice is hilarious. I think Richmond and Jack got on very well. I could kind of see Richmond actually funding Jack's late blooming acting career.
There we go. As a 50-year-old, I kind of forgot how old Jack was. In my head, he was like a mid-30s kind of guy. I was like, no, I am very old.
Didn't Samuel L. Jackson start his career really late? Like, you could be the next, Snakes on a Plane. That could be a thing.
Man, was my pitch that good? You think I could be the next Samuel or the first Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah.
Gene Hackman was in his 50s, wasn't he? Or like late 40s. Maybe next Popeye. Karen, what about your character? How did you find playing the accent? You were kind of worried about it beforehand.
I wasn't so worried about the accent. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it would be very good if I could continue to play a character like this. The thing I like the most is that my character's reaction would never be to punch someone in the throat. And it would never be
very much appreciated from my
But the idea is self-preservation at all costs. Any cost whatsoever, I'm taking that route. That's it. Complete coward. And that was fun. I liked it.
All right, so Daskvire said this was pretty tight. There was very little shenanigans compared to how we actually roll. Which apparently is just us waffling completely from the Patreon.
I mean, that, like I said, that's a lot more like us recording the podcast versus us like keeping to the like.
We don't have a deadline, yeah.
Keeping to our story that we're playing without like having a deadline, yeah.
Even now, we're gone over deadline on this one, which was we got probably a bit tighter. Isn't it maybe 2 hours we're going to play?
I think we did about 2. I think it was 2 hours 20 minutes each side, 2.5 with the 10-minute break included.
Yeah, I mean. That's okay. Like when we finished the first break, I was like, "Fuck, we've got so much to like." There's a couple of times
fast like, after the first break, though.
Yeah, well, it had to. Like, we really needed to do that. I mean, I'd never planned, obviously, for Curran to go back and save Parker, but I was driving home today. Like, we've been away for the week. I was driving home and going, "Yes, that would be perfect. That's got to happen."
Aren't you lucky that Curran was the one who well, anyone could have done it, I guess. But I feel like Professor Keen on the T-Rex was the best combination you could have had.
It was so good.
Any other character, it's like they're just trying to be cool. But
I picture him as Richard Ayoade.
That works, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah, Moss from the IT crowd.
So I guess, I mean, one question for everyone who's still watching. One of the things, so we will be playing Rime with the Frost Maiden. So we've got our first episode is going to be in 2 weeks on Friday as part of the D&D celebration weekend, which will be amazing. And then we'll be playing every Sunday for, I think, 9 weeks. And we've got like a 10-week total season, and that will be season 1. But we're also looking at things to do post season 1. So, I mean, hopefully, they'll keep us on and we'll do it for forever. But we also want to do other things. There's a few things that have been bounced around. There's certain things I want to do. Like if you're on our Discord, I've got some ideas on there that I've shared. But is there anything like someone's just said, Desquire's just said, maybe playing some Cult? Oh no, sorry, Crimson Loon has said maybe doing some Cult live. I mean, I've loved playing Cult. If you haven't heard our Cult games on our Patreon.
What's the difference between Cult
if you
and
start
Cult?
if you start a new Cult game with Craig, I demand to be in it. I brought him to the show and I haven't got to play with him since.
What is
He's
Cult
so much fun.
exactly? How does it work? I've never.
It's powered by the apocalypse, so it's basically every roll forces the story forward. So it's not like pass fail, it's not binary. It's more like if you pass, then you learn these things, or these things happen. If you pass, then you learn maybe a bit, or a good thing happens, but also maybe a bit of a bad thing happens. And if you fail, then you haven't really failed. A bad thing happens, but the story still moves forward. So it's much more narrative based. But Cult itself is sort of, as written, it's like Hellraiser. Have you ever seen those films? Like it's very Clive Barker-ish. The world is a veil, and beyond the veil is something that you really don't want to integrate with.
Tensoons asked Joe, Alien RPG Joe? ?
So Alien RPG is 100% on my list. So I've now learned the rules, and I'm working through both. What's the scenario called? Not Hope's Last Day, the other one that comes with the original starter set, but I've also backed the I've paid for the rate scenario, which is where you all play Colonial Marines, and I've got the PDF of it, and it's amazing. So I'm just waiting for the hard copy of that. So we are 100% playing Alien RPG. I don't know whether it will be a podcast thing or whether it would be a how does it roll thing. Like I don't know how it's going to be, but it is early 2021. We are absolutely doing an Alien one shot or campaign because I just love Alien so much. I love.
There's a lot of people saying they'd like to see more Pulp Cthulhu. Yeah. I don't mind playing Pulp Cthulhu personally, but I think I prefer regular Cthulhu. I don't know what the rest of you guys think.
I've never played Pulp, so I don't know what it's like.
So there's a scenario called Waiting for the Hurricane. Is that what it's called? It's in the Pulp Cthulhu book, and it's just so like shotguns and dynamite. That's the whole thing's based on that. It's just so over the top. And I think we could have a lot of fun with that.
Could you do it? Would it be a long session though, or would it be?
No. It's very like it's the definition of pulp. I think it's written by Matthew Sanderson, who's one of our favorite GMs, but also one of our favorite writers. And it's you can make it as long or as short as you want. Like I reckon we could do it in 2 hours. If we wanted to.
Tensoon said he'd done it in 4 hours, and he said he's ran it 3 times so far, and it's been hilarious every time.
It's so good. It's so good. But I think with us, we'd probably want to extend it to the 4 hours because I think if you want to hit those beats, that beginning, middle, and end.
And I have now learned how to play Tales from the Loop. I just need to finish off kind of a half story in my head because I've played a couple of games. One for a recorded Irish con that's going to be on, but like I think that could be fun because it's not as combat based or deadly as stuff we play. So it'll be interesting to see how Curran goes when he can't like blow up the world. Like I don't know what he does after that.
Also got Paranoia from the Squire, and we've also had They Came From Beyond the Grave by Crimson Loon.
So Paranoia, I've got the box set, and I'm sure, I think it's Grave Jones. Someone has managed to find a really cool way of using the cards from Roll20, which is because basically rather than rolling a dice, you draw cards, but the cards aren't like, the 52 playing deck cards. They're the Paranoia cards, and they have like this happens and this happens. I think there are dice as well, maybe, but I just think it's such a how we roll game. Like we would have so much fun with the craziness of Paranoia. And with Aram doing like the computer would just be amazing. I actually spent some time trying to do, I don't know if you ever played the Portal games, trying to do, the female voice from Portal.
Gladys.
Yeah.
Gladys. Because it'd be perfect for Paranoia because you basically, you live in this dome in this broken world.
Cake is a lie. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was trying to use like a voice changer, and so I was playing around with some cool stuff. But yeah,
the other thing,
Paranoia is high on my list.
What's high on my list is I want to have like some of us ruin Aram's day as him GMing a game.
Yeah,
at
some
point to absolutely ruin his day.
That would be amazing. That would be
high on my list is definitely this September 18th Dungeons and Dragons
it's gonna be a
game.
blast.
It's going to be so good.
Mm-hmm. Zalviz and Lady Penguin.
Another thing I do want to get in, I want to get Aram to play a game of Cthulhu.
Oh yeah,
yes,
that's a big one.
Yeah, we want to ruin Joe's day with Aram as well.
he ruins my day all the time. I've been playing with Grayson for 2 years. And Duncan, I'd love to play with you again. Like your character was so fully formed. Like you just
Fantastic.
arrived as this perfect package of this hilarious, English toff who just, these little sayings, everything. It was great, and you fit so well with our playstyle. Like not everyone does, but you really have.
I think one of my favorite scenes was when you were going crazy and you started humming "God Save the Queen."
So good.
Yeah, I don't know if I did too many stereotypes, but I was like thinking back to so I'm really into like 18th century kind of history and military history and stuff, 19th century. So I was just kind of thinking of movies where I've heard like what the posh people say, and just tried to like say things like that. So I had a lot of fun playing that character. Yeah, I'd love to play again. You guys are like really close knit and really like well polished on how you run these things, and you all play the character, that drives the story, and I think that's so important in a game like this. It's not like number crunching, it's all about the narrative. I think it's really fun. Yeah, I'd love to. I think it'd be an honor to come back on again at some point. So I'll certainly be listening to your shows, definitely.
And for those who don't know, you should check out Two Tin Coats on YouTube, guys, for Duncan's
it's Duncan Rose Painting Academy on YouTube. His Two Thin Coats on Twitter.
Got it wrong.
Don't worry, Duncan, I got you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Somehow that's what I do for a living. Long story of how I get there. I've been on podcasts where I talked about it. But actually, that makes me think. You guys, I don't know if you ever had much experience with the Warhammer role-play games.
Dave
I've played some of those.
Dark Heresy for a while, but we had.
Myself and Joe played an offline game with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good. There's a fantastic Warhammer Fantasy campaign called Power Behind the Throne, which is like a long module, but it's amazing. I've had the pleasure of playing through that one. So my friend Alex ran it, and it's got kind of like various seasons and things, but it's very free playing, and that it kind of sets you off, and then sort of like lets you understand what the consequences are, and then it's like, right, you've got a length of time to figure out what to do, and it's really open form. It's really, really good. As for Warhammer 40,000 ones, they're even Warhammer Fantasy ones, they're really deadly, and they have a D100 system, kind of like how Cthulhu does, but your stats determine your skills a little bit more. But it has insanity in it as well, and as you start encountering things that are like beyond your understanding, and it's really fun if you play things like Dark Heresy and then Rogue Trader, and you understand the system and what the power levels are, and then you play Death Watch, where you play as one of the Space Marines, and the power level increases drastically because all of a sudden you're a superhuman killing machine, and you get presented with like rather than rolling to hit, or you might hit and you might do some damage when you open fire. It's like let's roll and see how many people you've killed, like comparison. So the power level's drastically different.
Roll to kill.
yeah. So like playing Dark Heresy, you feel incredibly vulnerable. Then suddenly you play Death Watch and you feel invincible until you encounter something that is actually a threat to you, and then like it's it's on a different level. So yeah, I think you guys would really enjoy having a blast of those.
I'll definitely maybe chat to you about this about the Warhammer Fantasy campaign. Like I've really wanted to play Warhammer Fantasy for a while. I know I've got the Zweihander rulebook, which I'd love that as well. Like it's got this kind of gritty side, which really suits the sort of Call of Cthulhu standpoint. It's not as leveled, I think.
Warhammer's very low fantasy. It's got like crazy high fantasy elements in it, but I mean, like we had so the situation in the game that we were playing, like what you guys would interact with, we were basically in this inn, but we had this cult was pursuing us from one of these evil gods, and they basically set up an ambush in this inn, and it triggered whilst we were in it, and so we were like, oh, what to do? We're all drugged. Okay, I'm going to try and do this, and it basically descended into like a fight with food being used and stuff like that, like, just completely random. And like discovering where the people were all tied up, and us all basically bumbling our way through the whole thing because our team was rubbish. Like we were failing at everything all the way through. My character was a thief, and his brother was a bounty hunter, and he was wanting to become like this priest and stuff. And he was doing a big speech. And he's like, "Do not fear these creatures," and he lifts the mask of the creature and like fails all of his fear and stuff, loses like to gain sanity points. Like, what the hell's that? Like, everything falls to pieces. It is very much just on the kind of line of what you guys like run your games like. So I think you'd really have a blast with it and do a great job with it.
You sound very like me when I play a game, Duncan. It's basically just like, oh, that's what I would have done in that situation.
Well, we were constantly failing our way through it, but then there was one fight where everything just landed perfectly in place, and we were constantly critical hitting everything. And
I was a rogue who tried to convince a crowd, an angry mob, that one of my allies was a cult leader or messiah. That did not work out.
I believe that person was me.
No, it was Silvarix and Curse of Strahd. Or was it you? I thought it was Silvarix.
No, I tried to do it, but it was Silvarix that we convinced them it was. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. That is like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. Jeez.
Geez, that's 4 years ago now. That was
And we
back
haven't
in
got any
Barovia.
better since then.
No, we're still.
I think with that, we should probably sign out, guys, should we?
Yeah, let's do
I
it.
was gonna say if I know Aram just posted up that he's doing the iHunt game this fall, and I don't know if Aram maybe wants to talk on that just a little bit before we go.
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be a super incredibly leftist and violent show about killing creatures in the gig economy. Basically, the monsters are real, and the destruction of them has been farmed out to the people, while corporations take no responsibility whatsoever. Look for that in the fall.
Can't wait.
Nice brief overview there. I like it.
After that,
Go on, now you go.
After that, as we said, our next show is Rhyme of the Ice Maiden, which is going to be hosted by. It's going to be on this channel. This channel is also going to be hosted by the D&D Twitch, and the time of that show is going to be Niall. Help me out here.
We've got it's not next Friday. It's Friday after September 18th. It'll be 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It'll be 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will be 7 p.m. GMT, whatever that is. What does that? Greenwich Standard? Greenwich.
You wouldn't think to look at him, but he is an international member of our show. He
Yeah,
knows
also-
all of the time zones.
Every day I'm working with different time zones, so I've got them kind of drilled into my head. If you're Central Time, like it'll be 12 p.m. or midday.
There you go. So I guess the only thing to do is like sign out and chill our stuff before we go. Joe, where can people find you?
For that, you can find me at How We Roll Podcast. HWR Podcast on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, on the How We Roll page. You can find me on the How We Roll Discord. And you can contact the podcast directly at howwerollpodcast@gmail.com.
Niall, what about you?
You can find me on, well, my name is Niall, obviously, and you can find me on, I
HWR Podcast Niall on Twitter.
HWR Podcast Niall, there we go, on Twitter. I started using it more. I've tweeted like 5 or 6 times this week. It's crazy. Other than that, you can always find me on the How We Roll Discord too. I'm always pretty active in there, or try to be anyway.
What about you, Karen?
You can find me on Twitter at Curran_J. That's KURAN_J. Or you can find me on Twitch. I actually stream games on Mondays and Fridays at 8 p.m. for 3-4 hours, usually just hanging out. Playing Ghost of Tsushima at the moment. That's twitch.tv/KURANJ. There you go. Other than that, How We Roll Discord. I am there. Yes.
And then my partner in crime, Duncan. Sell your stuff. Shill yourself out.
Shill myself out. All right. So yeah, I'm all about painting toy soldiers and playing war games. And if you want to learn to paint toy soldiers better, you can find me at duncanrhodes.com, where I have a website that I run with my friend Roger, and we basically make videos about painting miniatures. We also have a YouTube channel, which is Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy. And if you want to find me personally, I am on Twitter at Two Thin Coats, or you can find me on Instagram and see the things I paint, which is Duncan J. Rhodes.
Very
You
good.
should definitely check it out because it is a very, very relaxing, satisfying watch.
Yeah, he's a Bob Ross of miniatures. That's the biggest compliment I'm giving.
I was like,
Ain't
oh,
those happy little
I'll
models.
press play, see what happens. An hour and a half later, I'm like, what am I on? Like, one of these.
You're like,
I've never
an
even.
hour and a half later, you're on like Amazon and Games Workshop. You're like, I want to
Yeah.
order all of this right now.
So, the man who makes us all look good, the man behind the curtain, Aram, have you anything you want to shill other than the iHunt game, or where can people contact you? The longest sign out in history we're doing as well.
The best way to look for all of my stuff is just to go on Twitter at Vartian. That's VARTIN. I post everything there on a continuous stream. You'll always find it.
All right. Last but not least, guys, I'm How We Roll Owen. You can find me on Twitter at How We Roll Owen, which is EOGHAN. I also stream over on Twitch at twitch.tv/How We Roll Owen. I'll probably be going live in the next hour or so. If you want to catch me, ask me questions about the game, laugh at me failing at probably Subnautica tonight. That's been our show.
right.
This has been The Code. Thank you very much. We'll see you later.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Well, how does everyone feel about that?
That was a pleasure, chaps. Thanks very much. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I kind of wish I was cleaner on the end.
Very silly.
Anyway.